There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again, and then we'll move on. order to stop. We'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the army of Ukraine, our army.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy. Had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar. A straight-up omelet bar. And now look. My former interns tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, you said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Functional Veterans Center of Excellence on this Gold Court Monday, baby. Woo-hoo. Yeah. Area 51, maybe in the basement of the Alamo, somewhere in Cheyenne Mountain, or maybe in some missile silo, out in the Colorado prairies. Ass punks from the inbox. Gold Corp. 2024. That's right. Love it. Or San Francisco. That's right there, Musa. Or out in Anacapa Islands, out in California. Damn. Y'all like fucking trying to find out where we're at. Love it. So, all right. Well, I hope everyone's doing okay. Oh, White Sands. There we go. Boogie on down. Or White Sands. I love it. Jump in the chats and tell us where you're commenting from. I think that's kind of cool. Where's your Clay Martin's Army of Poors shirts? Hey, man. That's another thing, too. I need an Army of Poor shirt. I need to start... See, all the bros, man, every time they sport a new T-shirt or something like that, like the Gold Corp T-shirt, of course, I gotta spot at that. Being the fact of being in all sorts of drama. Did you guys know I was on the American Grit podcast? And Fort Carson, there you go. And we talked about Gold Corp. We talked about that stuff. And so I just think it's funny. Go to Grunt Styles American Grit podcast, and you'll see moi tuning in from sunny California. You hear me talking about Gold Corp, the meme, the meme that made a dream. Oh man, yeah, they cannot get enough fucking drama about this. The commenting from the Gold Corp Liberty Branch office in Lumberton. That's right. The influencer wing, of course, right? The north side of Olympus Mons and Mars. Oh, man, you guys are getting creative on your places where you're checking in from. You mean the Soviet Republic of California? Dude, that place is all hell in a handbasket. I'm kind of glad you all kind of checked in to see what was going on. For as of today, begins the first rule of Gold Corp is we don't talk about not buying T-shirts from the homies. Exactly that. Well, I mean, come on, that's part of that's the Gold Corp standard, right? The Gold Corp of Gold Corp. So real quick, today begins, and this is gonna fucking get everybody pissed off. Today begins WTF Nation Decides. WTF Nation Decides is pretty much our time to shitpost. We shitpost about politics. We even invite politicians to come on out and join us to shoot the shit, hang out. WTF Nation Decides. We will be shitposting on both candidates like we did last time. We've always done this during the presidential elections, and we post comments, make commentary, because there's a lot of political drama going on right now that a lot of people have been waiting to see what we were going to discuss. We were going to discuss this on Sergeant's time a little bit, but we had to make sure that we let everybody know that there is a little bit of a delineation between professional development and politics, and that's what this show's about, the Monday edition. So buckle up, duckies, because we got a rocket van, as my kid says, delivering bread, flying crazy as we can. So did y'all hear what happened over at the Arlington National Cemetery? And all the drama that happened there damn, some big time drama. So, at Couch, hi Polly. Yeah, there was some big time drama. It was during a wreath laying ceremony on the anniversary of the bombing at Abbey Gate, and man, did it fucking cause a lot of shit. I have a little bit of a here's the way I see it when it comes to Gold Star families. The Gold Star family to me is almost like a protected entity. In their grief and in their grieving, they can grieve however they want. They can grieve however they need. I've some friends of mine that have done the casualty notification stuff. They were casualty notification officers. They have had the gamut of emotions run deep, from screaming, crying, blaming the Army. Some of them actually got to the point of almost physical assault, and they have to take it. They take it. I understand. I've never been on the side of a Gold Star family. I've only seen, and I've only from what my friends have done as casualty notification officers, I kind of think that a Gold Star family kind of gets the red carpet rolled out, and they shit. They should be able to say whatever the fuck they want. Now, there was an incident reportedly. Phone's light closed while I do monologue. Well, I'm on a monologue, dude. What you got, King? You're kind of like staff, bro, so you can talk if you want to. But you just got to let me know if you're going to call in so I can open up the phone lines. But if you're going to call in, I have to know. So here's my thing is that if you are invited out, you tried calling in? Oh shit, hang on. Let me open up the phone lines, fool. Shit. His hair broke multiple laws in Arlington. Okay. All right, try again, King. Try again. WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air. What's up? Hello?
What up, Iceman?
What you doing, King?
Hey, man, I saw you on looking handsome in that shirt, and I just want to know, where can I get one from, brother?
Oh, these shirts, we're about ready to open up the shop, and there's going to be a surprise. There'll be surprises. The shirt's going to be coming back. And so, yeah, you'll be seeing a link on there. Is that what you called for? Here, I was waiting for some.
No, man. I also want to call in, man. It has been a minute since I've caught a Monday edition, as I'm doing other live streams as well. But I just wanted to call and tell you very publicly, thank you for allowing me on the staff here at WTF Nation Radio. I've been having a blast doing the sports bar on Sundays. And, sometimes people don't give folks their flowers while they're alive. So I just wanted to publicly say thanks, boss man.
Bro, thank you. You got me in the feels. Oh, thank you so much, bro. Bro. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. You and the coach are as about. You're about. I mean, like I said, have been an awesome addition to the team, and I'm telling you, your perspective when you pitched the show to me. I'm tell you what, the sports bar, I love it. I mean, we have people your viewership is picking up, and so I love it, man. I love it. So I appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Cool beans. Wait, man, I'm not going to derail the show, man. I was enjoying your opening monologue here, and I'll be tapping in, boss, man. You have a good show, brother.
All right, brother, man. Take it easy.
All right, peace.
Hey, peace. All right, man. Thanks. Verklempt. I'm going to get a box of tissue here. Man. Thanks, King. Appreciate it. The actual King Smith and the coach on the sports bar. I should have thrown in a jab talking about USC. Yesterday's game was freaking incredible. If you guys are in the college sports, being from the West Coast, of course, USC. It's kind of like watching that game. Chilling in the B-dubs, of course, the WTF Nation Embassy, all around the world. All around the states. At any rate, so. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about the freaking the situation in Arlington. Okay, look, everyone's in there. His hair should have been. It was a violation. Go New York Yankees. Hey, look, man, a Gold Star family can grieve however they want, and when it comes to commemorating a family member or loss of a family, they get to have a they get to grieve however they want. They get to invite whoever they want. They get to bring whoever they want. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to keep it in there, bro. Trying to keep it in there, Wayne. Trying to keep it in. Verklempt. I know if when I go or whatever, and a family member decides to invite a politician or somebody that is to my grave and knows that I am of a supporter, and I kind of feel that my family feels that they know who I respect, or they know who I guess you would say I'm a fan of. And so if my family invites somebody to my grave to take a selfie or take a picture or whatever, then I think it's you leave it alone. You don't that's it. That's the Gold Star family. I mean, like I said, a Gold Star family is kind of a that to me is like, you don't fucking even touch that. They can grieve however you want. However you want. But don't come at me and saying that because I say, hey, whatever, then that's not how I should feel. And that's not how a family should feel. Look, now we're getting to the point where the dialogue back and forth is going against the family shouldn't have invited. Now the families themselves are being fucking attacked. Could you imagine now we're at a point now where we're going after fucking Gold Star family members for what happened? Does that matter? Does that matter what a family member decides? Other individuals have said that due to the fact that he used it as a point of, and now he's talking. Now look, I'm gonna tell you something about Trump. That everyone had fucking, the reason why he was elected was because of his I think it was more of like an anti-establishment shit posting stuff that you would never expected to see a politician say to another. That's why he got elected. I'm going to show you the picture that got everybody fucking upset. And this is what got him upset. A lot of people were like commenting, oh, this is fucking gross. This is disgusting. Family shouldn't have done this. There's even personalities saying that family is vile in this, quote unquote. This is, and of course I'm seeing the back and forth and seeing everybody going off on how this should have been stated, or this how should have been done, or how could have been handled. And individuals are making fucking videos of this and saying that this is for political points. I'm kind of glad that the internet is the way it is now, that it's really not being controlled and it's kind of being out there, because the government would fucking squash all past posts or all past campaign type. Why are you so small? Hey, what are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about my picture. Here, okay, hang on. Let me adjust. That's because I had a guest. So there you go. Now, everyone is allowed to grieve in their own way or invite their own way. Now, the member of some of the family members that said that, hey, there's my son's image is in there and my picture's in there. When we can scour the lines, we can scour the web for anybody who has taken pictures. I have seen pictures of friends that have held barbecues at a grave site. Not really a barbecue, but they had a little hibachi grill and they're grilling and stuff like that with beer, and they're drinking beer with their buddies while other headstones are around there. We got dealt some shitty ass fucking candidates to begin with. Yeah, exactly that. 2 candidates, 1 cup. Oh, interesting reference. So this was the anniversary. This was Nicole G's family. Now, if there's a bigger picture. Now, the story goes for this is that there was also somebody who came along and said, hey, you need to stop this. You can't do this. Supposedly, there has been some fisticuffs thrown and the Army acknowledged. Now, here's where I think the Army should just shut up. It's funny how the Army likes to make comments on one thing, but not make comments on the other. Now, reportedly, Stephen Chung, the Trump campaign spokesman, rejected a note of a physical altercation and said that there's footage. He's prepared to release footage, and he's yet to release it. Musa, if I'm dead and I want my family to visit me and I want them to be happy, that is just me. There you go. So the Trump campaign, of course, declined to make any footage immediately available. So I kind of wondering, we kind of know who it is. If that makes any sense. We're not going to fucking really get in the fray in this, but I just think it's kind of bullshit. That this wasn't a big deal until Trump did a visit. No, for real. It wasn't a big deal. Specifically with all the other politicians that do their performative fucking bullshit of having themselves doing this. Now, look, Trump, I think he's on fucking, I think he's how do I say this? I mean, personally, I think he's too old, just like I think Biden was too old. But he's always doing photos, grip and grins like that. Hey, look at me, it's me. Awkwardest feeling. Now, imagine, how would you feel if you got invited to a Gold Star family member's remembrance, which he was invited, by the way, and then we said, okay, we're going to take a picture. how would you react? It's kind of fucking awkward, right? I have friends that have been killed in action. And you guys know that there's been several occasions where I go and participate memorial rucks at Fort Liberty with the PSYOP Regimental Association. I feel awkward being with a Gold Star family member when they walk along with me, or when they say, "Hey, Ken, come on, hang out." I'm kind of like, I always say this a lot, I don't know what to do with my hands. I feel awkward. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I just sit there and respect. They know the feelings that I have for their loved one, like great friends of mine, and they know that they always say, "Hey, Ken, it's okay." I've been told several times, "Ken, it's all right. It's all right. It's don't feel awkward. Don't hi. I literally don't." Now, again, the vitriol and all this with everybody getting pissed off is now we had some individuals that got pissed off because one of the family members in the back did the skate or die shit. If you guys shred, you guys been on surfboards or skate, whoop whoop, or heavy metal aficionados, that's whoop whoop. That's what you do, right? His entourage basically committed assault on an Arlington worker, but we've not seen any footage supposedly if it was. Arlington does have cameras. So now it's become a he said, she said. He said, she sells. Did I just say he said, she said? I bet. So do I think he was kind of awkward and fucking a little, I'll say it, a little fucking not classy for fucking doing that shit? Yeah. But the family members walked him on, invited him. Other family members were smiling. Like, again, it's really hard for me to judge how a Gold Star family member should fucking grieve. Just like everybody else on the planet. Had this been a Barack Obama, had this been Joe Biden, had this been W, had this been Clinton, I don't fucking think anybody would have said anything about it. But the vitriol is so fucking bad in the political environment right now that they hate fucking Trump. They hate him so fucking much. The immediate whatabouts. As soon as you post something like this, oh, okay, well, fuck, yeah, exactly that. Hang loose. Hang 10, too. When I was a kid, it was like, whoop, whoop, rock on, dude. Yeah, fucking shred, baby. Fuck yeah, that's some like skateboard kids, surfer cellos. That's what we used to do, too. People got pissed. How dare he? This is a disgrace. What about other pictures? You're not taking in consideration of everybody else. Sound like Alex Jones there, huh? I don't fucking get it, dude. I really don't. I have taken pictures of other individuals celebrating and honoring my brothers and sisters that have lost their lives or given their lives or have taken their own lives. And I thought no photography was allowed. No photography is allowed. But again, I don't think anybody gives a fuck because it's Trump. Now, again, like I said, he's fucking awkward as fuck. His mouth, that's his fucking biggest problem. His involuntary tics, I guess you would say, that's a big fucking issue with me. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Did you know that if Trump were just to shut the fuck up right now and just let the fucking Harris campaign run the way they fucking run and just run off the videos that he has, I guarantee it, he wouldn't have fucking had any issues. If he'd not posted any of the bullshit on TikTok or any other social medias, it wouldn't have been a fucking issue. Again, the Harris campaign is fucking flubbing on their own anyways. You don't fucking really need it. How come you're attacking Trump? Oh, not just attacking Trump. I'm not attacking him, really. Again, a Gold Star family kind of has carte blanche on who they could invite. What if it was Cardi B? What if it was some heavy metal person? What would you say then? What if it was somebody that you felt was not of your fucking values or your upbringing? Then what would you say? Would you say, oh, look at that, his favorite, because everyone says that, his favorite rapper was so-and-so, or his heavy metal band was so-and-so. Could you imagine if I had fucking Slayer show up to if I had a family member, or we had a family member, we invited somebody to come out, and I knew that a Gold Star, one of my troops or something like that was a fucking Slayer fan? Do you know what the symbology that Slayer has? It's a fucking pentagram. What would you fucking say? Oh, that's how it is. And everyone would be buying fucking t-shirts and everyone would be good to go about it. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right? So again, it's because it's fucking Trump. Now, again, I keep telling you guys, I love the internet. I love the web. I do, because, you know, it's one thing that the government cannot fucking control. And it's one of those things that you could see that you're like, yes. When someone says, well, so-and-so did do it, so-and-so has more class. There we go. Everyone's like, oh, my Slayer fans out there. I love Slayer. I like Cannibal Corpse, too. So could you imagine? I invite you out. My family invites you out to come celebrate the, you know, where I'm at, wherever I'm buried. Which one thing I noticed is that people will walk on your fucking grave if they fucking hate you. I've already seen that a lot. Somebody who's taken their own life. But, yeah. Cannibal Corpse? People be like, oh, you like them? That was so cool. It's so heartbreaking. He loves that. He loves Slayer. He loves Cannibal Corpse. But as soon as fucking Trump shows up, oh my God, fucking Ron, he's a fucking this, he's a rapist and insurrectionist. Cannot control. Oh my God, man, dude, fucking cannot control. What are you talking about? People are pissed off on our page right now because memes that get posted get taken down because people are out straight bitches complaining and mass reporting on U.S. Army WTF moments. Yeah, could you imagine if W showed up? Hey, I'm here to see ice. Oh, he's in the ground. As fucking as awkward as he is, he'd be the same fucking way. So again, I'm kind of like, yeah, don't touch the fucking Gold Star family members. Leave them alone. Let them grieve who they want. That's kind of like The only reason why you're getting pissed off about it is because it's a guy that you fucking hate. So, mostly command complaints. So we jumped on the X app. Biden administration on numerous occasions requested posts. I will say this: where the fuck were they on the anniversary of said fucking of the Abbey Gate bombing, suicide bombing? The main page posted the testimony of one of the NCOs. We posted a remembrance post. So, that's what I'm saying. So, did I see them there aside from a fucking Twitter post? I'm going to quote one of the admirals from the Coast Guard that talked about presence is influence. And I'll be honest with you, they fucking did it pretty good. The vitriol and the anger against the Trump campaign or whatever, I think is fucking, you played into your, congratulations, you played yourself. I clicked on a picture on my friend's page that was blocked for sensitive as violence, and it was the American flag. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Facebook took down a bunch of posts that we had, and we're like, where the fuck was this post at? Or where the fuck is that post? It got taken down. And we're like, huh? This place sucks. This page sucks. Okay, you can unfollow us. We'll talk about that later in the show. So let me show you what the fucking Biden administration did. This was posted back in 2020. This is that is the that's not the official count. This is campaign account. Here, let me go back to this. I'm not going to play the fucking sound because we're not authorized to play their fucking shit, and you know they'd fucking cry if we did it. So, anyways, here it is. This is his campaign stuff. This is his campaign video talking about COVID, which I can't believe they lumped in fucking service members and COVID and all this other stuff. Basically was, it's a Memorial Day post, right? See them all that? Yep. The use of U.S. Department visual information does not imply endorsement, right? Okay, yep. See some drill sergeants fucking squaring away some fucking Joes. You see people doing the fucking COVID shit, which we're probably going to get another fucking strike on us because anytime we talk about COVID, YouTube gets pissed off. There's another fucking page. Oh, there we go, right? Military families, blah, blah, blah. Wait, hang on. All right, cool. Lost their service member. Thank you. We owe you. And there it is. People posting some shit. Look at that. There's fucking Arlington right there. What about those other graves, right? And then look right there. Bam. Paid for by Biden for president. So don't come at me. Or don't come at Anybody else that says when a Gold Star family can invite whoever the fuck they want to memorialize them and go after fucking Trump when this right here fucking sits. It's not at all a fucking biased event. Look, like I said, I don't give a fuck. I don't shut the, like what Dave Chappelle said. What do you know, when he had all those mics, I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. You're not going to fucking convince me. A Gold Star fucking family member can invite whoever the fuck they want to commemorate, memorialize, celebrate the life of their family member, whether it's fucking Trump, Slayer, Cardi B, Ice Spice, whoever. The dude is not even running and Kamala isn't even the ad. That's not the point. The point being is that this administration and those who have been licking his sack about it don't play fucking coy with this shit, dude. Come on. It's been done before is what I'm saying. I don't even think a Gold Star family member authorized that picture that you saw earlier when I played that video. I don't even think I authorized it. I don't care. Again, I don't care. I don't care. If a family member invites anybody to honor and commemorate their family members, fucking A. Like I said, it's because it's fucking Trump. Limp Bizkit? Yeah. Vanilla Ice? I don't know about that. You pushing that? Yeah. Kid Rock? Yeah. What about Kid Rock? Same thing. Don't spare me your fucking bullshit. Spare me your fucking pearl clutching. Spare me how whatever, if when you were a fucking guard person, when you worked the honor guard shit, or when you fucking laid bodies down in the fucking graves over at Arlington. I don't give a fuck. If the family member, a Gold Star family member, hey, let's talk about Gold Star family members that don't even get fucking people from the commands, First SFC, that they didn't even show up to a memorial for Ryan Naus. And now we're going to fucking clutch pearls about that shit? Let's dig into the fucking army first before we start going off of fucking political bullshit. Which, by the way, this is WTF Nation Decides anyway, so we're talking about. But this is fucking bullshit. Don't fucking spare me your shit. Spare it to me. I don't care. I don't care. Nor will you convince me. Just like the same fucking ear truthers that are out there. Oh, Trump didn't get shot. I'm sorry. I thought we all saw that live on fucking TV. So then I guess that means there wasn't an insurrection and there was no Russian collusion. Spare me your bullshit. Everyone's lost their damn minds. So, again, if you in politics would like to show up and like to discuss, don't invite ICP and the Juggalos. Oh, yeah, that's right. Didn't the fucking FBI say that they were criminal terrorist organizations? That's for my age ass. They're terrorists. They're terrorists. Isn't that what they said? They said they're like fucking terrorists or something like that. The Juggalos. It's fucking unreal. I love it. Oh, man. So at any rate, again, anybody that wants to come on U.S. Army WTF Moments to shitpost, pundit, talk about whatever, and commentate and rant and rave, that's what WTF Nation Decides is all about. Because I'll say the same shit about Trump like I say the same shit about Harris. Exactly that, John. Exactly that. The FBI called parents who stood up in school board meetings and domestic terrorists. Hey, you want to talk about the domestic terrorist shit? Come on, man. The Gold Corp stuff? Gold Corps? You know how many IG complaints were done about Gold Corps? Fucking. I even said that on the American Grit podcast. There have been no Gold Corp indictments. A friend who's in the IA at the prison showed me his book, Juggalos, whatever. The left's too scared to come on. They have nothing positive to stand on. Where's Rudy? You want him to come on? You mean Comrade Harris? Hairs? Is that a spell check right there? Hairs? Which currently right now everyone's making drama because she's attending she attended a rally and started talking. Everyone says she's starting to talk like foghorn leghorn. I saw the article before I went on the show. I'm like, I said. Oh, man. Here to see William Shoker. Exactly that. Oh, spell check. Okay. Yeah, Bill's going to come on in a minute. We can talk about Womack. Like currently right now. Like right now, the Eagles. People have been walking around posting some shit about the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are like the Raiders of the East Coast, so I kind of like, you know, kind of feel some I kind of feel bad for the Eagles. I say there was Twitter foghorn. Like, so the Eagles hit back at a fake fucking poster that says the official candidate of the Philadelphia Eagles. I need to sound like the group that I pander to. What's that? What group is that? I need to sound like the group you pander to. What group am I pandering to? I'm shit posting. We're shit posting on all the fucking candidates. We've always shit posted on all the candidates. Philadelphia Eagles were forced to speak out in order to combat. Harris, gotcha. Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That fake accent. I don't even know. Like I said, I haven't pulled up the vid yet. Somebody showed that on the fucking lines right there. The Philadelphia Eagles were forced to speak out in order to combat a counterfeit political advert supporting VP Harris on Monday. Posters hailing Harris as the official candidate of the Philadelphia Eagles appeared around the city of brotherly love. The adverts, which were displayed at bus stops, depicted the Democratic candidate at Eagles helmets cradling a helmet of football. And then they post the big words, Kamala. So, there you go. That's the fucking. I say, yeah, exactly. Let's see what people. I was kind of wondering. They made her too light. Isn't she like light skinned? I mean, they like whoever did that is like they don't want to piss her off and making her too black or too light. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I will say this, that the left loves to be, they have inadvertent fucking racism anyways. I mean, coming from the group that likes to say Latinx. As the cycle continues, what has voting done for the nation for the last 80 years, from local governments to federal governments, have become more free or independent, or as individuals, the nation has our currency grown in strength, been degraded? Man, you got right in a freaking preamble here. Or have we become more dependent on our government, technology, and foreign governments who own the government, who has sold our nation's tax dollars, and young men and women out there fighting in their wars when we don't fight our own nation? We are the people continuously becoming overtaxed, overregulated, and more controlled by big government by half the parties that you're like, that's like too much. That's a lot of read. It's a shame. Do we have American people that have been convinced to trick into believing the back and forth between the party system, two-party system? I agree on that. Two-party system's getting fucking stupid now because they're also like, on some occasions they form together and become one, and other occasions they're not. No, I'm not an Eagles fan. I don't know why everyone's freaking. I don't know. We got a lot of Eagles posted here. No, this is not an endorsement of the. Let me change the camera here. This is not an endorsement of the Eagles. Nor am I an Eagles fan. Raiders of the East Coast. Give Harris a break at one time, and some of this. Give Harris a break at one time. She had some smartest DNA inside here. Guess the punchline. Huh? What? Huh? I don't understand. I don't understand that one. Yeah, I'm about to say, John, you're throwing some paragraphs and preambles in there that I'm like, dude, you gotta wrap it up. Sorry, I've been quoting Dave Chappelle a lot lately, and I was talking to some friends about that. Wrap it up. So, of course, all this drama has continued to happen due to the fact that we've had Tim Walz, whose period of service has now gotten to become one of the biggest freaking drama cases on the planet. Saying that he was when saying that he wasn't. Deployed in Afghanistan when he wasn't. Held a weapon at war when he didn't. Did I hear about Stephen King's ban all sides? Yeah, I heard about that, but I'm trying to see where like, is there like an edict? Is there like truth to this? Is this like the bunch of bikers going to Aurora, Colorado to handle all the fucking Venezuelan gangs? Is it, aside from that, I've not seen anything sourced to like, okay, I've not seen Governor DeSantis come out and say, yep, here we go. We banned these books. But I like some Stephen King books. Who didn't see It? or Christine or Shining. How could you not, there's some things that some people like to inject themselves. I've had some childhood heroes that have injected themselves in politics that I'm kind of like, that sucks. Fuck. I thought you were cool. I thought you would be understanding. I thought the character that you played would be the same portrayal that you lived up at Comic Cons and all this other stuff. I do have some friends that are, that I'm not friends, but they say they're my friend, but I just like, oh my fucking God, dude, I can't believe someone talked to me that they were a part of this genre, science fiction, comedy, whatever, pop culture stuff. I still get fucking, oh man, I can't believe that stuff. And then they fucking post something on their social media. I'm like, God dang it. I just shut it out. Did you hear what no, I don't want to fucking hear it because it'll ruin. I have my own little child fantasy about being remembering some members of science fiction or some members of my favorite movies growing up. I had a little friend post a comic saying that native Indian, you need to leave the country since you came here illegally trying to stab at defending immigration. I said, yeah, how to turn out from the natives. Ooh. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I get kind of like disappointed when I see something like that. But I've heard, I'm not saying that I'm not, I don't know or whatever, I'm not avoiding it, but I have heard that there have been some books that have been banned reportedly, but I've not seen no details of it. But yeah. So let me go back to the other page. Let me go to the, somebody asked if I have any other examples. Yes, I do actually. I need to clean my language up. What do you mean? Well, which language? I speak a bunch of them. So, ¿a qué lengua? But what are you trying to say? Andrew Jackson and Trail of Tears? Or how about General Sherman? Everybody wants to be native until nobody wants to be native, right? Is that what it is? So, okay. Anyways. Yeah, I'm just saying right now, before I don't want to go on fucking people's TLs because there's a lot of fucking, there's not enough, there's too much to talk about the Gold Star family stuff that it would take away from the guest that I have on. I will talk about it later though. But que pasta, yeah, exactly that. Sit there and go back and forth. Me and Musa will rap some Arabic to you. How about that? We can do that. But yeah, dude. So I'm just trying to get I'm just trying to say, man, just go back to what I was saying originally before. If a fucking Gold Star family member invites anybody to commemorate, memorialize, or celebrate the life of their loved one, just let them fucking do it. And it doesn't really matter what political party either. Because I bet there's been members of the opposite side. Then I guarantee it. There's probably some Biden images out there. Obama, W, Clinton. I guarantee it. There's probably other ones there. And nobody said shit. Again, it's because they fucking hate Trump. This guy has made motherfuckers just lose their mind. Fucking think it's hilarious. You know how, yeah, David, we spend our time in the master bedroom of the NCA. And that's Senator X's and Paso. Yeah, the master bedroom. Dave, what are you talking about, man? It was just a hotel. What, you talking about the one across the street by the PT track? Dude, what are you saying, man? It's fucking funny, dude. It is fucking funny. I get on social media once in a while, and like I said, I normally don't do it till like half the day or something like that because I'm busy doing stuff. And then I see fucking woo doggy. So, anyhow, all right. So I'm gonna take a break right quick, and I'm gonna get on a break and see if we can get our guest on. And then aside from that, we'll be right back. So everyone, shots, refill your glasses. I'm just gonna give you guys a warning. And a disclaimer that there will be discussions of behavioral health and some possible psychological treatment and abuse, possibly. I just want to let my guest come on here and talk. And once he does, then again, I'm just letting you guys know. So let's keep the comments in there and be fucking respectful. So Oh, well, Susan, dude, stop, dude. Just stop. Fine, you're here. How many, Susan, why are you talking all this shit? Susan's saying, fine, I'm here. How many whores did you breed with? Not my business. Then that's not your business. Wait, who's doing the whoring? How many whores are you talking about, Susan? I don't know what you're talking about with the whores. Are you saying because I'm a divorce enthusiast? What's up with that? Whores have feelings too. You guys are savage. All right, so I'm gonna take a break, and then we're gonna get the guests signed in and get them set up on the webs. That way we can all talk, and then we'll be right back. So, shots, stand by.
If that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much going to be me sitting there talking shit, like, constantly.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
All you Trekkies and TV addicts, don't mean to this, don't mean to bring static. All you Klingons in your grandma's house, grab your backstreet friend and get loud, blowing doors off inches, grab you with the pinches. And no, I didn't retire, I'll snatch it off with the needle nose pliers.
With the evil you never seen before, gliding in the glaze like gold in the fucking way. Like a person with the face so not goofy like they're in a hate so I'm a hip-hop making your night with practice me running that you know all right. What's up with that? I got friends and family that I respect. When I think I'm too good, they put me in check. Don't believe when they say I'm no better than you, except when I rap, so I guess it ain't true like that, Joel, and you just don't stop. Guaranteed to make your body rock. Check it out. What's it all about? We're working out. Let's turn this party out. Check it out. What's it all about? We're working out. What's the condition? I'm a man that's on a mission. Son, you better listen. Stuck in your is an electrician. Like the scientist. When I'm applying this method of controlling my mind like Einstein around the Duke of What? Now, hey, think about it now, what the deal? I didn't know you go for that mass appeal. So I'm calling to Lucci. Some my potato. I stole your mic, but you won't see it later. Cause I work magic like a magician. I add up the mathematician of the bank cashier. Engineer, I wear cotton in the I'm going to cruise past ya. Don't money, don't jump yourself. Put that back on the shelf. Flames blazing, yeah, I'm phasing. My crew's amazing. We're working on the record, y'all, so just stay patient. Check it out. What's it all about? We're working out. Let's turn this party out. Check it out. What's it all about? We're working out. Let's turn this party out. Now I go by the name of the King and Rock. I don't wear a cup nor a job. I bring the that's beyond bizarre, like Miss Piggy. And I am the one with the clientele. You say at rock, you rock so well. I got class like pink champagne. Let's see, ain't got the
Facebook Live. I've never heard of this shit.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back. Sorry about that. Had to play an extra song there. Wait, do I play extra songs? At any rate, back live. Again, we're going to be discussing behavioral health and behavioral health procedures. So if there's anything uncomfortable you feel not wanting to discuss or hear, please understand that you can just listen later or wait until after our interview is complete. So right quick, I got somebody that I've been talking to in the inbox. We've been talking about, and I brought this up before, there are several cases that have happened within our MilMed system. Specifically right now, we're focusing on the Womack Army Medical Center. And there's other stories that are out there that we're working with. But this is a story that we've kind of finally been able to get to a point to where we can discuss this. And so right now, I just want you to introduce my guest. And Billy, welcome to WTF Nation Radio, man.
Thank you. 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 Thank you Appreciate it being here, man. Very excited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, dude, fucking, I know me and you've been talking for what, a few weeks now. What's your case? So tell us your name and tell us about yourself.
All right, my name is William R. Shoker. I go by Billy. So I served in the Army from 2017 to 2024. I started in the 82nd, and I was in the 101st for a period of time. Believe it or not, during that controversy that's been exposed on the internet. Don't want to get into that, but I left that place, and thank God I did. Went back to Fort Bragg for a short time, where I exited my service back in May.
Now, what did you do in the Army? What was your MOS?
I was an 11 Bravo, first as a paratrooper, and then, went over the leg land in the 101st, got my air assault badge, and, did my time there. And then I got my 5. Well, I got my 5 in the 82nd the first time, and I went over there, and I came back as the E5 because I missed the airborne lifestyle. I said it sucked. My knees, but you don't know what quality soldiers are until you're in a unit like the 82nd.
You ain't lying, dude. No, or anybody supporting. I always tell people the same way, that if the Army were to have DRB and GRF status, I think the Army would be better if we did it like that. Because and I graduated from the 82nd Jumpmaster course and supported the GRF and DRB, and I tell you what, it's a whole new realm, man. I hear you. So at this point in your service, when did you feel that you were starting to have I don't want to say problems, but when you felt like you needed to talk to somebody to discuss what you were going through?
So it started when I was at the end of my time at Fort Campbell. So I was going through personal problems, and then the controversy going on at Fort Campbell with Sergeant Major Knapp and McGee and their bullshit, and it was just draining on everybody. And I started going to behavioral health there, and then some bad shit happened at Fort Campbell. I don't want to go too. I'll gladly come on and talk about this situation, but we don't think we have enough time for this. I got an article.
You got 45 minutes, brother. So you can talk.
Okay. So long story short, Fort Campbell is 100% officer ran, which is not the Army I grew up in. Everything about the 101st was let's get a good OER. Suicides were happening left and right, and they're like, hey, look at these Eagle Guardians. They started this thing with dudes with Guardian patches saying, hey, we care. But in the long term, no, nobody fucking cared. I was in Strike Brigade and suicides were through the roof. So along with my personal problems, I saw around me the shitstorm that was the 101st at that time. And that was McGee and Knapp's fucking unit. And I was just losing myself, man. Like the Army I once knew seemed to be fucking crumbling in front of me. Like, and the NCO Corps I took hard pride in was fucking dead at Fort Campbell.
Right.
Because the officer corps took the balls away from the NCO Corps there. And I started going to behavioral health there then. Some bad shit happened. I had this soldier. I actually made a YouTube video on this, but long story short, we got an altercation. Kid pushed me. I pushed him away from me, said, don't touch me. He punches me in the face. I reported to leadership. They do an investigation, which they started 3 weeks after the incident by demand of the battalion commander. And, the IO was rushing to get it done. And they found me and him guilty. So I got an article. Luckily, everyone knew that article was bullshit. I was so fucking mad. And then my mental health got worse because of that.
What did
my first...
But you were trying to keep your cool. Is that what you were trying to keep your cool by doing the right thing by reporting it. So,
yeah.
Did you have any senior NCO leadership, like your first sergeant or your CSM, step in and say, hey, look,
man, going to get to that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. My first sergeant at my first reading, so he stuck up for me. For pushing a soldier, my BC wanted to take my rank, take my orders back to Fort Bragg, because I was supposed to BCS back to Fort Bragg, and give me 45 days extra duty with 2 months app, the whole shebang. My first sergeant said, absolutely not. He does not deserve this. So at a field grade, I got 10 days extra duty, and I kept my stripes. They gave me a suspended demotion, and then they took my 60 days of leave. They dragged it on through my leave, so, I ended up getting 12 days of leave. So I went back to Fort Bragg pretty fucking salty, pretty mad over that whole situation.
I bet.
I guess I could have been more grateful, but, fuck, man. Cool. Punish me, but for pushing a guy, you're going to try to, so I lost my leave. And when I got to Fort Bragg, we immediately were on an intensive training cycle. So my mental health was just going to shit. And I decided, all right, I'm gonna tell you this here. So I got to Fort Bragg with that mindset. I was in a bad attitude. And I should have just let that shit go, I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, like, we went to the field and we had this new CO who actually was controversial from the moment I got here. So her name was Captain Taylor England. And those in the 82nd know her by name because she was on Fancy Fancy Bear, which is also a me page like yourself. Yeah, I told you about Fancy Fancy
You told
Bear.
me,
back then.
yeah, exactly.
So here's what was going on. There was a lot of allegations, and I hate to bring up allegations that I don't have clear evidence on, but
I mean, but
when everyone's
go ahead.
Hmm?
Oh, so it's not really the allegations, it's more so the culture and the climate of the organization. So
yeah,
so go ahead.
So a lot of people were saying stuff like she was a platoon leader in Italy in the 173rd, and how she was like letting her platoon sleep with her and shit. And I'm like, all right. My first thought was, when you're a female in the infantry, there's usually one or two of you. So the dudes always talk shit. So I was I was listening to it, and I'm like, is this true or not? But then I started hearing more and more stuff.
Was
and
this just platoon bullshit rumors? Platoon fucking.
This was battalion.
This was battalion rumors. These throughout the fucking battalion.
Like soldiers throughout the entire battalion. Other than bears. So.
Yeah. So did they at all? Did anybody like fucking say anything or like because you know how some rumors are, it's gonna get slipped to the fucking CSM or it gets slipped to the fucking. Right. Did anybody have it back?
So what I understood from her time in Italy, she was already under investigation for that bullshit. So that's just what people were talking, and I wanted to, kind of be like, all right, I heard about this, and then my first sergeant as well. I met this dude, and the first thing I walk in, stood at parade rest, and this dude looked at the ground when he talked to me, and I'm like, all right, it's weird. Asked me if I want to be an armor. I'm like, no, I want to be a team leader. I halted my own progression to E6 because I wanted to go back and be a team leader in a quality unit. I wanted to be with the boys in a unit that I loved, which was the 82nd.
Right.
And immediately, just some cute things about that unit. I was in BCO 1504, which, by the way, excellent battalion. Whatever I'm about to say, I ain't shitting on that battalion. Or even BCO, like, solid fucking battalion. Red Devils is, like, the first battalion picked for anything related to the 82nd. Everyone knows I tried to get to Red Devils first thing when I got there. And Sergeant Major De La Peña helped me. So we're going to the field, and I'm having fun. So they made me a designated marksman and an assistant gunner to Carl Gustav. So I was having fun as a leadership position on weapons squad. But then some bad shit happened. Dudes thought I was heat catting in the field because I ran to an objective and I was throwing up. And they said I was heat catting. I'm like, I'm not heat catting. And furthermore, I went to the medics and they said, you are not heat catting, you're fine. But my platoon sergeant and my first sergeant were like, you're heat catting, so we're going to make you a permanent ammo guard and put you at the ACP until we can get a set of OCPs out there. Because it was winter, so I just packed my winter stuff. But, it got warm somehow. January in Bragg is always like 30.
Yeah, I know. January in Bragg is always fucking weird. You would expect that place not to be so fucking cold, and it can get cold. Was it because was there anything you weren't doing, like drinking too many fucking? I know kids that drink too much energy drinks without drinking fucking water or whatever. It was just you fucking being smoking yourself. Let's put it that way.
Pretty much, yeah. No. After that, I did have energy drinks, but we had gone back and I had gotten that shit, to have something in the field. But before the live fire, I had none of that. I literally just drank water.
Right.
Because I wasn't even that stupid. Because I pound energy drinks on the daily, even now. But then, no, I didn't want to risk that. I wanted to be an effective member of my team.
Of course.
And my weapons squad that I was part of.
Of course.
So, as a punishment, they put me on this ammo guard, and I'm cycling through soldiers. So here's where I fucked up. Before we get into, I did some dumb shit, and I'll tell you what I deserve. So, one soldier, I was asking about our commander, because I guess I was just steaming. I guess in that moment when I was on that guard being punished, I thought back to Campbell when those dudes fucked me, and I was just being, being a sour puss, I was being a crybaby. I was just like, fuck this shit, this is stupid. And I was asking about my CO. Then this one kid, this kid lied to me. I should have picked up that he lied. With everything I heard about my CO coming there, I believed it, which was stupid. I mean, I should have remained biased as an NCO, and this is where I failed as an NCO. He said that his brother committed suicide, and he wanted to go to the funeral, and she denied him a pass. And I should have picked up that that didn't sound right. No commander would not let you go to the funeral. Here's the details. That didn't actually happen. That happened a year ago. He said it happened in January 2024 when we were out there. So things were getting wild. I was, dealing with my personal issues too, and I said some concerning things. But one thing that happened is they pulled me out of the field because after hearing that, I was like, "What? She did what?"
Right, right.
Fuck. I said, "Fuck that bitch."
Right.
That dumb bitch doesn't give a fuck about us. Because, like I told you at Campbell, we literally had so many suicides in Strike Brigade, and they're like, "Go to your Eagle Guardian. We care." No, you don't fucking care.
Right.
You guys just want to go to OER. And I was letting this control me when I should have let it go. And they pulled me out of the field. First sergeant pulled me out of the field, and I went back because someone said I'd kill myself, which I did not. I can confirm that. I remember I was talking about the situation that happened at Camo, and I was like, "Hey guys, if you're suicidal and no one in this unit supports you, I fucking support you." And I guess someone misconstrued that into saying that I wanted to kill myself somehow. Because another E5 came to me, he's like, "Hey Shoker, come here." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, man? Are you all right, man?" One of my guys said you want to kill yourself. I went, "What?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, when the fuck did I say that?" So people started playing the telephone game. Next thing I know, these rumors circulated into me saying that I wanted to kill my commander. And I was like,
Jesus.
"What?" They brought me back. Yes, they brought me back from the field. And first sergeant's like, "So why are you talking shit about the commander?" I'm like, first I'm like, okay, someone reported me for calling her a bitch. In that moment, I'm like, well, Article 15, time to take this dick. You know what I mean? I that's my fault. I will not look down on those soldiers. I have my own opinion on those soldiers.
Right, right.
Should they have reported me? Maybe not, because I've heard people talk shit before. But at the same time, look at the Army and how it's run. I, a non-commissioned officer, disrespected an officer, and that's wrong. And they had every right to report me. And that's my fault for not having integrity. I will never look down on anyone for that. But
it was misconstrued, though. That's not what happened, right? That was not. You didn't say.
So I did call her a dumb bitch.
No,
but
but
I
you
did not threaten to kill her.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what. Yeah. Okay.
First sergeant's in my face, like, "Why are you threatening to kill the CEO?" I'm like, "First sergeant," and then I admitted, I'm like, "Okay, look, I was talking shit about her. I did not threaten the CO." So they sent me to Womack, and this is where shit got really weird with behavioral health at Womack.
Yeah. So at this point, now I just want to was this a self-admittance to Womack Behavioral Health, or was this a command referred?
Commander, first sergeant went back. We went to Beco's Cough. They both did that form thing for a psychiatric evaluation for homicide and suicide ideation. But I wasn't completely sure it was homicide. I know now it was for homicide and suicide ideation. I just thought it was suicide.
Right.
Because first my PO was talking to me like, "Hey, we got to send you back for this reason." And then it turned into that whole thing I just told you about.
Right.
So, all right, we go to Womack, and I meet this lady, right? I forgot her name, but she works in Robinson Health Clinic. And she starts talking to me, and she's like, "Did you threaten Taylor?" And I'm like, "Who the fuck is Taylor?" And she's like, "Oh, that's your commander, Captain England, but I know her as Taylor." And I'm like, that kind of, I don't know how things work here. You're a retired sergeant major, but that's a little weird to me.
Sounds like almost like a conflict of interest when you're referring somebody by name. But go ahead.
So she starts asking me, and then she confirmed with me. So she didn't violate any HIPAA rights, but she said, "I know what you're talking about. No, this person's brother did not kill himself this month. This happened a year ago." And I went, "Oh, fuck." And I'm a fucking retard, like I said. And I realized my mistake. That's what got me so steamed up.
Right.
From dealing with that. And I was like, oh. But then she's like, "By the way," she kept pressing me, saying, "Are you sure you didn't threaten to kill Taylor?" I'm like, "I did not threaten to kill her. I just disrespect her." And then she's just like, she just stares at me like this. Okay, so she goes out, comes back. "Okay, honey, you're free to go. By the way, the commander wanted me to tell you that you did threaten her and that she's pissed and that she has sworn statements." I went, "Okay." And I'm like, "Okay." And then she says something else. I'm like, "Okay."
Wait. So she's now interviewing you almost as if she's taking information from you. Like,
yes.
Like to me, it sounds like she was, how do I say this? Using the capacity of a behavioral health facilitator to get information from you to help tailor, to help your command, to help the command. Does that make sense? Is that how you felt?
At the time, yes, but remember, I'm a younger dude. I'm Gen Z, and you older dudes, you guys have a mix. There's greatness with the new army, and then there's victimization. And the last thing that I always wanted to make sure I'm not playing victim.
Yeah, what's up? Why do you got to go to the old comment, bro? Why you got to call me old? Okay, I'm old, but yeah, still. But go ahead. I do get it. I do get that that there is a yes. Right. I appreciate it.
I always wanted to make sure, because when I was a younger private, there were times that I was kind of a victim, and growing past that, I always questioned myself, like, no, you did this. And I look at the system, the 7 Army values, the NCO creed, like,
of course,
this is what's going on. They're fair and impartial, telling myself this over and over again. But it already seemed like they're targeting me, and I didn't want to. Oh, they're targeting me. Well, you called the commander a bitch, dude. Like, obviously, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but
I've called my leaders assholes and dicks and bitches too. You know what I mean? So it's not uncommon for anybody not to call their leaders a name like that. Oh, they're being a prick, or she's being such a fucking bitch, or why you know what I mean? I get it. I mean, but did it feel like because you had something going on at Campbell that like it followed you, like it like somebody fucking said, hey, this guy was a problem child at Campbell, so you better watch out. So did you feel like you already had somebody watching you, or like a target on your back?
No.
Okay.
After I did that dumb shit, then people were reaching out, and then that kind of, like, my platoon sergeant, that sneaky little bitch, she was definitely making some phone calls.
I bet. I was about ready to say, so it was after the fact, and then everyone was diming you, saying, oh, look, this guy had some problems going back this. At this point, did you feel like, fuck, dude, you're trying to connect me to something? At this point, it's no longer behavioral health facilitation. This is now, it's almost like an interrogation. Did you feel that way too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind, because behavioral health saved my life before. Like,
right.
When I thought I had nothing, I had behavioral health. It's American fucking taxpayers are paying their tax dollars to behavioral health therapists and officers, and their job is to fix soldiers. And these people are looking at me going, hey, fuck you, Shoker. You talk shit about Taylor, we're going to fuck with you now. Like, what the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm. Only because,
but anyway,
yeah, but only because you were reacting on some bullshit that one of your buddies had said that was bullshit, and then you admitted that, yep, I shouldn't have believed the bullshit, and they still wanted to keep pressing on. Is that what we're gathering so far?
Yeah. So here's what happened afterwards. So my weapons squad leader I had at the time, his name is Staff Sergeant Connor Erickson. This man is the golden child in today's Army. This dude was the best squad leader I have ever fucking had. He supported me 100%, and he remained fair and impartial. So I get out and I go see my roommate. Now, my roommate in the barracks had just left BCO and gone to CECO. So some bullshit happened to him there too. He asked me not to mention him by name, but I told him about what happened, and he looked at me in the face and said, I'm going to tell you right now, dude, she's going to take this as far as it can possibly go. So there was a lot of other bullshit too. Like, we had some dudes on extra duty, because out of all the companies in 1504, BCO, like, England was chapter Article 15, and like the other NCOs and other companies were like, what the fuck's going on? All the dudes at staff duty doing extra duty, they're all from BCO. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
Look, at some point, like, if dude snorts blow, like, you got to go. Unless we somehow convince the Army he's good, you got to go. But, like, she was just, it's almost like she had no backbone to rehabilitate them or give the power to the NCO Corps to fix that. She was just, I'm in charge. I have power. Chapter, Article 15. And that's what she was fucking doing.
Now, now, mind you, this is the behavior health person, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't want to get too far off topic. So I go back to behavior health for my assessment.
Okay, but the behavior health person, who's saying chapter Article 15? Oh, who's saying that?
My commander.
The commander was saying
that.
Okay, go. Okay, so
go. She wasn't literally saying that. I was saying that this is what she was doing. Like,
right. Okay.
Like, why is she slamming so many chapters in Article 15s?
Right. Okay.
To a point where other people are like, "What's going on here?" Like,
what
we have recruiting purposes.
Yeah. So you're seeing that condition of how she was acting more of a overreaction. Like, dude, there's a difference between the spirit of the law and the letter of the law, and everyone's asking what's going on. Okay, so let's go back to the session.
Right. So I go for my first safety check. I get escorted by my squad leader, And I go in there and I sit down with this therapist. Her name is Miss McCaffrey. She works in Robinson. So I'm sitting down there, and she's like, "So what are you here for?" I'm like, "Ma'am, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on. Like, I guess I'm here for suicide ideation, but ma'am, I'm not suicidal." Then she cuts me off, goes, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna put you on a profile." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, because you're passively suicidal." I'm like, "No, the fuck, I'm not."
Right.
She didn't even let me finish fucking talking. And then she's like, "Do you have firearms?" And I'm like, "Go ahead."
No, I'm just gonna say it's somebody just said in the comments there. It's like straight trying to fuck you, dude. It's not even gaslighting. It's like straight trying to jump the gun, to fuck
Now
you
with
over.
Miss McCaffrey doing this, I didn't fully know why she jumped the gun on that.
Right.
I was told that Robinson was like they were pressing dudes. Like I guess in attempts to fix the suicide epidemic, they were like bearing down on people. Like you have to put this guy on a profile if he shows any signs of suicide. And what's gonna happen in the long term? People are just not gonna open up because what happens when you're on a profile and you go back to work? Hey guy, you're 11 Bravo. Hey guy can't hold a weapon.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, as I'm saying,
It's your fucking job.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't jump out of a plane.
Well,
You're a
not
paratrooper. It's your fucking job.
Yeah, I was about
Go
to
ahead.
say no. That's every paratrooper on Fort Liberty. If you're exiting an aircraft wearing combat equipment, doesn't matter if you're a fucking pack clerk or a fucking 11 Bravo. Everyone's fucking carrying that. Everyone's carrying a weapon. Period. And specifically, if your job specifically being an 11 Bravo is to close with and then destroy the enemy, putting a fucking profile on you, that it's like an immediate profile. It to me, I think is a little short-sighted without getting to know the deep, you know what I mean? Getting to know really what's going on with why you even showed up. So basically that in itself creates its own behavioral health fucking situation. Like it started off with you somebody saying that you wanted to kill your commander, referring you to BH, having all the drama that you had before, being followed because people called you up. It created another BH incident from the command, not by you, if that makes any sense. Like they were the one dreaming that shit up. It's not, somebody said it in there. It sounds like the force administers ASAP. It's like how ASAP, if they say, "Hey, how many times do you drink?" And you say, "Oh, I have a beer a week." You're an alcoholic.
Funny you bring that up. I'm going to get into that too.
Go for it. I'm sorry. So
they
this,
did that to me too.
yeah, I was about to say they probably did. So let's go into that session there where she was immediately going to put you on a profile. What happened then?
So then she asked me, and I'm like, "I'm not suicidal." So then I started getting fucking scared. I sat like this. I'm like, she didn't even let me finish talking. She's like, "Do you own any firearms?" And I'm like, I refuse to answer that question. So at that time, I had 4 handguns, I had 1 shotgun, and I had 3 rifles. And I had them in a storage unit up post because I lived in the barracks. And when I was at Campbell, with what was going on there with my Article 15, I actually was admitted for putting a loaded gun on my head, and they took my guns away. And when I got them back, one of them was damaged. One of them was my $2,000 M1A, and I was mad about that. So my first thought is, you're not taking my guns again. And I'm not even suicidal this time. What the fuck's going on here? So I refused to answer the question, and Miss McCaffrey goes, "Why not?" And she screamed. And I'm like, look, I know in the Army we got to be, don't be a pussy, stand up. But when you're in a therapy session, that's the time to be touchy-feely.
Right. Exactly. You're supposed to be touchy-feely in a therapy session. You're supposed to be getting in touch with your feelings in a therapy session.
Yeah. So then she's like, I'm not giving my guns up. Look, I am not suicidal, but I'm not giving my guns up. But at this time, my commander kept pressing behavior health, telling them that I'm a threat. I have documentation of her just constantly in the little medical porter chat box saying that he's a threat over and over again. So they already were like, I'm a psycho. So she was like, "Okay, it's your right. I'm gonna go talk to your escort." And she gets up and leaves. And Mom like, "Why is she talking to my escort?"
Right.
I don't know how normal that was, but why are you like?
What the fuck she gonna say to you? I was gonna say, what the fuck she gonna say to your escort? That she's supposed to be privileged conversation between you and her. Why is she fucking talking to the escort? So, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good, Ramos. So anyway, things were getting bad, and then, platoon sergeant sat down with me, and He's like, all right, man, here's what you're getting counseled for. Calling the commander a bitch and this other thing. I didn't mention this, so don't want to concern anyone.
Okay.
This is the other thing that happened that led to the telephone game of me supposedly threatening my commander. I had childhood trauma, and I joined the Army, not just because I loved it, because I wanted to escape that shit. And I'm sure you can, if not relate, understand. There's many people like that. I was dealing with a lot of home issues, and I blurted out, I fucking hate my mom. And I said, I'd shoot my mom, and I went, ooh, yes, Ramos, I know. When I said that out loud, I was like, holy shit. I concerned myself, and I actually was like, I gotta go help. So understandably,
Yeah. You
people, you see how it circled around to that shit.
Well, here's my thing too, bro. It's like when you get, it's almost like it's like you get, and exactly that, Pips in the. You really can't be too honest. I mean, it's almost like if you're too fucking honest, then it's going to be used against you. I have said, and I've said this before, and I even said it on other podcasts. I have said things like, God damn, this makes me want to drive into a lake. This shit fucking pisses me off. I want to run into oncoming traffic. This fucking, I want to hit a fucking wall. You're driving me up the wall. I'm going to fucking just throw myself off a cliff. I mean, sometimes just those things right now, if I was still in, people would be like, oh my God, Ramos wants to kill himself. He wants to go ahead and fucking jump off a cliff. He's going to go, he's going to jump out of the airplane with no parachute. And people are going to freak the fuck out. Just because an emotional outburst, because you're so fucking frustrated at how, I mean, the way I see it right now is that they were pushing and cornering you to fucking break. And that's just from what I saw. So
yeah.
I mean, just knowing, like I said, in talking
remember,
to you,
the comment of I'll shoot my mother or whatever happened in the field.
Right.
When I got in trouble. So I said in front of a Joe who didn't know me at all.
Right.
And understandably, I was like, I just said this in front of a Joe. I just said this, period. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like,
right.
All right.
It's okay. I always say, hey, fuck me running doesn't literally mean I want somebody to just fuck me while I'm running type shit. I get it. So
I was trying to.
Yeah, I get it.
I needed help. It was obvious. Just from that alone, you could tell Ramos, I needed fucking help.
It's Ramos. You say Ramos. It's okay.
Ramos. My bad.
Rambo Ramos.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm a white boy. I'm sorry. I'm a white boy.
I know. Our mutual friend knows me pretty well. So I'm surprised he didn't give you that brief. But
I think he did, but he talks a lot.
So at that point, then. Okay, you got a fucking profile. Your fucking escort is being told what? What is your escort being told?
So this is the same squally, your Staff Sergeant Connor Erickson. That dude's just, from what I understood, he was just like, I guess he just having a bad time, disrespected the CEO. He above all people had my back. So, but the fact that she was talking to him like, well, fucking why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not have me present too?
Right.
Or explain to me why you want to do it, not, hey, I'm gonna go talk to your escort, say some shit behind your back.
Yeah, that's how I would feel. Yeah. I'd feel that way. I would feel that way if somebody was, hey, I want to talk to your escort. Well, what, you gonna talk shit about me or what?
Yeah. So she comes back after talking to him and goes, well, it's your right. We ended that session and we left, and I went off post. Forgot what I did. I think I was going to General Jackson's on fucking Yakin. And came back. And then I was at the PX, the Goal Airborne PX, and I got a text message from Erickson. He's like, hey, dude, don't go off post. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
You were just confined to post. You cannot leave post anymore. And I went. So then I began to put the pieces together. At first, I thought this was because they were concerned about me being suicidal. I look at the records. I showed you my records, which is why we're here today, of my commander talking with behavioral health, and she's just like, oh, he's a threat. He's a threat. She said, we need to confine him to post because I'm concerned for my safety. Like I'm going to go get one of my pistols or my AR and just go like, no, that's not going to fucking happen.
And that was because that was because I don't think, And so you got back, you've been told you were confined to post. And what did your leadership say that? I mean, did nobody fucking sent you a text saying, hey, like, no counseling?
No, that was my squad leader texting me.
No, what I'm saying, but nobody counseled you before that. Like, you had no idea that this was happening.
Nope.
Now
that's Captain Taylor England for you. That's just what she does.
Now, in all this, did anybody fucking recommend any medication, any fucking smoking cessation, any type of discussion of what any type of medication that we're gonna consider you putting? This was just straight bantering back and forth, basically.
So, I at work though things were quiet. I got the counseling recommending me for the article, like I said, for the 2 incidences, calling the commander a bitch and saying that thing about my mom. Obviously, they threw the mom thing out like fucking cares to focus on the commander. So first they were going to give me a company grade, but then I was so Red Devils is weird, and I don't know if it's all first for you, but at least Red Devils, there's company CQ. So inside your company cough, there's a CQ desk, and I was sitting there with a Joe, and I was so mad about the way behavioral health treated me. I was like, hey, Private so-and-so, you go to behavioral health? He's like, yeah, I go. I'm like, how are you doing at behavioral health? And I didn't realize maybe I was talking like loud. I was going through a lot. So maybe I was just so stressed out. I was pumped up and talking. I was like, I can't believe what behavioral health did. And I said, because of what they did, the command team had to do this to me. Like, not at the time, I thought that at the time that they, maybe the fucking behavioral health was bearing down on them saying, you have to confine them. That's what I thought at the time. Now we know that's not true.
Right.
He came down and he's like, I'm saying this stuff. And then all of a sudden, I get called in the office and my platoon sergeant starts chewing me out, saying he's going to take my rank. Like, how are you talking shit about the commander in front of the CQ desk? And I'm like, what? So when I was saying what I just told you about, my commander went to her fucking office that's behind the CQ desk and called my platoon sergeant who was in his office across the way to tell him that I'm talking shit about her, which I wasn't talking about her at all, like this dumb bitch. So, all right, here's what happened. I went to a behavioral health session, and I had switched therapists because Miss McCaffrey, I don't know if she was, I found out that they were bearing down on her maybe. That's why she was reactive. And, not her fault. I got a new therapist, forgot his name. Really good dude. He's a former 11 Bravo himself, and so he understood me. That dude wouldn't just throw me on a suicide profile. Like, if I said some off the wall shit, he would understand it, which was great. And I want to talk to this dude.
Right.
So we're talking, and I told him about my platoon sergeant saying this. He's like, just go talk to him.
So did anybody fucking ask the CQ guy?
They did.
They did.
They determined that yes, I was not talking shit about the CO, and that she was just trying to so she was a compulsive liar from my perspective. She just lied all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Whether she was trying to do whatever or what, that's all she wanted to do was just try to fuck me. And she was going to do it any way possible. And sorry, that was my nephew.
Surprise, you're live.
But anyway, fucking. So I actually went back to behavioral health for a walk-in before I moved with Miss McCaffrey. And I was like, excuse me, hey, I realized my mistake here. I was confined to post, and I think it's because let me give you the keys to my storage unit so I can't access my guns. And they said, wait a minute, you were confined to post? I did a walk-in. I asked for a walk-in, and they're like, all right, that's not good for your mental health. You were stationed at Bragg. What's the one thing you tell your soldiers when they're having a bad day? You get the fuck away from Fort Bragg.
Yeah, especially on a 4-day weekend. Like 10th Mountain right now is working on a 4-day weekend, by the way. If everyone's asking me what post we were talking about, units that are working on a 4-day. Hey, 10th Mountain, you're one of them, we know. And no, they're not getting ready to go to the field. It's just for some bullshit. I know what it's like. Yeah, I do tell the soldiers, get the fuck out of here. Go hang out, go to the beach or something like that. So,
and you don't know what you have until you lose it. So I said, all right, I'm going to work with my command team here. I'm going to give up my keys and let them know I'm not a threat to myself or anyone or whatever.
Right.
And the therapist said, hey, we called. It's too late. You were confined by the deputy chief. And I'm like, so I started, I caused a bit of a scene at behavioral health. I started freaking out. I'm like, I do not want to see Miss McCaffrey ever again. I don't want to see her again. And again, I think she was being bared down on. But at the time, with what that first session we just talked about happened, I'm like freaking the fuck out. Like, this is, I got some demons.
But nobody's telling you what's happening behind the scenes. That's what it sounds. It sounds like you're just finding out, not being sat down and says, all right, Billy, here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. Here's what we have to do. It almost seems like no one was giving you the fucking steps.
From the moment this situation happened, they made their decision and they were trying to kick me out. That's just, they just think that they're gratuitous, amazing leaders. Like, if we don't like someone, we can remove them. Pretentious I shouldn't say that
You're
word.
good. You're good. You're
Pretentious
good.
asshole.
Yeah,
Huh?
you're good. I see. Yeah. I understand. I understand.
So I can't say that word now.
No, you can't say it. It just people will freak out if you do say it because then it'll detract from. You can say assholes, pricks, bitches.
Okay,
worthless,
good.
worthless
Pretentious bitches. We'll say that.
There you
That's-
go. Worthless motherfuckers,
Okay.
spineless asses, whatever you want to say. That's cool with that. But once you start, if you get in, it's going to be in the slur. I don't want Facebook to fucking because Facebook been really bitchy lately. So they've been pulling our posts down, and I hate it. So.
Oh, that sucks.
But so then at this point, how did you know you were going to get med boarded out, or they were going to board you out, or what were they going to do?
So, with my behavioral health history, I didn't have enough for a med board or anything. Like, to the Army standards, I was mentally competent. My CO, though, so here's what happened. They decided they weren't sure if they were going to give me a company grade or a field grade. My first thought was, I'm an E5 doing this dumb shit. It's got to be a field grade because that's the only
Right.
way to take stripes from an E5 is to go to a lieutenant colonel. So the decider that said I'm getting a field grade over a company grade was that incident at the CQ desk where I supposedly talked shit about the CO and didn't. And then part of the counseling, I had to go apologize to her. So I went to apologize to her, and I gave her as much of a meaningful apology as possible. And this is her response. This is what Taylor says. Are you fucking kidding me? And my first thought went, oh, God, this bitch is going to ruin me. The first thing I thought in my head, I'm like, this is such a white bitch right here. God damn it.
So now she's feeling insulted that you have seemed to have had some sort of recovery and some sort of epiphany that you're feeling, okay, you felt remorseful about what you did to her. And then all of a sudden she comes off with this fucking attitude.
And then she says, I do. And then she says this, I do more than any other company commander in this battalion.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, oh my God, this dumb bitch.
At the point when you're at the point where you're just saying fuck it. You know what I mean? You're just saying fuck it at this point. You're just like, fuck it. Anything you say, it's going to get fucking twisted back and forth. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm continue. Go ahead.
So then she goes, like Sergeant Anthony, my platoon sergeant, said she's always telling me that I need to stop and I'm doing too much. Like, I was at the Soldier Support Center trying to help someone get a CNA. And I'm like, if you're a real leader, you're going to do shit not expecting awards. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, so then I asked her, I'm like, so, like, what's happening to me? She's like, you're getting a field grade. I'm like, and the reason is because when there's threats against an officer, it has to be a field grade. And then I said, ma'am, I didn't fucking threaten you. Well, there's sworn statements that say otherwise. And I'm like, so go to TDS, right? Sit down with TDS. And as you know, you have after you get the brief for your Article 15, it's like, hey, request to talk to an attorney. I said, I'm talking to an attorney. I said, hey, man, sat down with my attorney. Can you do me a favor? What? Could you go through that 15.6 and tell me if there's any sworn statements that say I threatened to harm my commander in any way?
Mm-hmm.
So she pops open. Every single page gets to the last one and goes, not one says you threatened her. Only said that I called her a bitch. That's it. Okay. You see here?
Yeah.
I'm pushing it on because you threatened me.
Right.
I did not threaten you. Here's the 15.6. So then this happened. Time passes. I'm waiting for my second reading. I didn't know if it was happening before or after JRTC. So my roommate, the rules when you live in the barracks. You take care of your roommate. I was an E5 and I had an E2 roommate. Fraternization, you don't want to be fraternized with people, but at the same time, if you're living with someone, like, I'll sit down on this couch and play Xbox with them. It's the barracks, man.
It's your roommate that's an E2, but you're a sergeant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can't fucking help that, but okay, you're right.
Exactly. But so this kid was in BCO and he moved, and here's why they moved him. So in my squad, we had this black dude, coolest kid ever. I love this dude. He's a great soldier. So, Sharp and EO is a big deal, but as you know, 11 Bravos, anyone in the comment on us is fucking vulgar and will cross every line imaginable.
Let's put it this way. It's as bad as an Xbox chat room. different races.
Oh yeah, that's it.
What you know, a white, black,
So-
Latino, Asian. It's a fucking. Oh, I know. It's I know. Just don't say anything that'll get that on that portion that'll get the fucking page blocked. But go ahead.
But anyway, so this soldier who's black said that his favorite food ever is Popeye's chicken, and that's kind of funny because stereotypically, you know, black people like fried chicken.
I like fried chicken too. That's common as well. So
I like fried chicken too. So get this, they're running down our dens. My roommate, who's still in BCO at the time, the black dude's falling out of the run, and those two are cool. They're close friends, and he says this: "Come on, man, there's a Popeye's chicken up the road. You can make it." And everyone laughed because one, it's fried chicken, and you know he's black. But get this, he didn't say fried chicken. He just said Popeye's chicken.
Yeah.
He said it's my favorite food. So there's a whole lot of shit making that statement funny.
Right.
It's racist without being racist.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, everyone remembered me when I was a first sergeant that I loved chicken, and my soldiers even said, you know, that I was black because I was even told by one of my NCOs that I eat more chicken than black people, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. But I said, don't say that out loud. Well, too late now. But hey, what's up, Rodney? He used to say that a lot. He's like, damn, first sergeant, do you ever not eat chicken? But yeah, but I get it. I mean, again, like you said, there's that morale, and of course, civilians not understanding and individuals not understanding the way Fort Liberty is. I'm gonna tell you what, Marines say the same fucking shit. Air Force, well, I don't know about Air Force. Marines say the same shit. Fucking most organizations that deal with, I don't know, weapons, guns, firing, you know, going to the field, you have that.
I was told as a private, if you're offended, you're the problem. Don't get offended. Like, roll with that my whole
you said.
career.
Well, like you said, if it's blatant racism, then yes, it's a. But fucking comments, because I've been told in environments, hey, you know, fucking you're Mexican. Oh, wait, are you half Mexican or full Mexican? Hey, so do you like hamburgers or do you like tacos? Make up your mind. Which side are you? You know, I get it too. So, but I didn't get fucking butthurt about it. You know, I didn't get fucking. You know, and I would say, "Si, senor," you know, fucking, you know, I don't ever get the ass. I mean, the Marine, exactly. Somebody said the Marines, there's a fucking crayon joke for Marines and intellect. Everyone says,
I made a video on TikTok and YouTube of me supporting the Marine Corps by eating crayons with Tabasco sauce. And I ended it with, why do these guys like crayons so much? Are they retarded?
Oh, yeah. See, that's what they do. That term, you can't say gay. You can't say retarded anymore without it now. Because back in the day, if you said gay, it was like stupid. It meant like, it didn't mean like gay. It wasn't like talking about.
You're right about gay, but retarded is still being thrown around. It's still being thrown around.
But retarded, no, but I'm saying though, but when someone says retarded, it's like someone who's not fully there, which what are you retarded or something? I mean, even people back in the day that say it are now getting fucking going back. See, everyone's posting comments right now that's getting flagged for community standards. It's hilarious. So
these are the people I want to watch this video with, so I can let them know.
Okay, so you're getting your reading. Now, at any time while you're getting your reading, what did your battalion commander say in all this? What was the?
So here's what happened. So second reading happens. Come in. So first reading, Sergeant Major Fran gives me my first reading. And actually, hold on. Let me go back real quick to the roommate guy, because this is a key point in all this. I'll just go over this real quick. Because he said that comment, they gave him an Article 15 for being a racist, but that's just because they wanted to fuck him, and they were just trying to get him. They tried to get the black dude to file an EO complaint. He said, "No, dude, that shit was funny. I'm not EOing him."
Yeah.
But then some bad shit happened, and he moved to Chaos Company next door, still staying in the same barracks. And they ostracized him. They ordered the platoon that he was part of not to talk to him, and there would be severe repercussions, which you can't do. That's against EO.
Right.
I'll get more into that in a second, but let's go back to the reading. Like you
go
said.
for it.
So
Yeah,
first reading. First reading happens. Commander just tells me, "You're getting a field grade because you threatened me." Sergeant Major goes, "All right, Sergeant Shoker." And I was like, man, I just met this dude, and this is all he knows of me. This is fucking great.
Right.
Great impression for the Sergeant Major, but he reads my thing and goes, "You're being charged with 1 count of saying, 'fuck that bitch,' and 8 counts of saying that dumb bitch doesn't give a fuck about us." I don't remember saying it 8 times.
I'm about to say, so they're going off the bitch count. Is that what they were doing? They were marking off the bitch count. I was like, what?
I don't remember saying that statement 8 times, but maybe they got some statements that said, I heard Sergeant Choker say this, and they just counted them all as me saying it 8 times. But I guess that's what happened. And I never talked to the IO either. The IO never sat down with me to get a sworn statement. But again, I did agree to the counseling, so that's probably.
Did you
why.
at least get your rights read? Did you at least have to? Did anybody read your rights about it at all during the reading?
During the reading, I can't remember off the top of my head because typically I don't get Article 15s often when I was in active duty, but TDS usually does that. They brief you on your rights, so I already knew my rights, but I'm not sure. I don't want to comment on that because I don't want to put misinformation out there because I don't fully remember.
I got you. Okay, that's fine.
So I read. He goes, I'm like, Sergeant Major. He's like, what? You got any questions? I'm like, those are the charges, right? And he goes, yes. What could possibly be worse than that? And I'm thinking, I didn't say it, but I'm like in my mind threatening to kill the CO. And he put me in my place right then, and he's like, recite the NCO creed. And I went, no one is more professional than I. He's like, yeah, what the fuck? And then I went, all right. I had a shitty attitude. I went, I don't deserve to lose my rank. And then I went, maybe I do. For personally calling her a bitch, no, she's a bitch and she always will be till she dies. I don't fucking care. But for disrespect of an officer, yes, that's the point here. We're gonna make it about the rank.
So then after that, you got your reading. They said, okay, now what? What was the punishment? What was the?
So no, that's my first reading. After I leave, so actually, we'll go right into my second reading.
Go ahead.
So my second reading, Colonel reads it to me. He's like, all right, why'd you do it? And I was like, all right, be honest with you. I was dumb. I heard a rumor. It wasn't true. I had a bad attitude coming here from Fort Campbell, and I neglected my own mental health, and I allowed myself to just kind of fall apart, and I lost my composure. Basically saying, like, this is on me, man. I just fucked up. Sergeant Major kind of thought I was trying to use mental health to get out of the punishment. And no, that's not what I was doing. I was trying to say, hey, I fucked up. Because at that first reading, I remember what he said about the NCO creed, and I went, all right, better take this. The best leader I ever had 3 field grade Article 15s, no big deal. I'll just earn them back. So after that reading, go to work the next day, and, the punishment was demotion to E4, 45 days extra duty, 2 months of half pay. Get this. We were going to JRTC within the next week or so. There was about 13 dudes in BKO on extra duty who had just gotten Article 15s. Another dude came into his second reading with me as well.
All right.
All of them who got up to 45 days extra duty, there was going to be a continuous motion, meaning when they went to the box, their extra duty would be counted. So let's say they went to the box for 30 days and they came back, they only had 15 days of extra duty left. Except for me. Lieutenant Colonel Shin said, we're going to start your extra duty today, and then we're going to pause it, go to JRTC, and then resume it. I was the only motherfucker in BCO at that time that they did that to. I wonder why.
Yeah. So but there was no punishment, though. I didn't give any, I'm still kind of.
45 days extra duty, demotion, and 2 months half pay. That was my punishment.
Right. But what I'm saying, though, is that did you go fully through your punishment, and did they allow you to continue your behavioral health appointments?
Let's get into that.
Okay, go ahead.
I was still going to I was still on profile for suicide. I was actually about to go on my last assessment to see if I was clear to get off the suicide profile. The day after my article, early morning, they said, hey, 09, all extra duty is going to show up. They're going to go to the ammo point or wherever the fuck that place is where they issue ammo at Fort Bragg.
Right.
So I went there and I'm like, wait a minute. Hey, Sergeant. I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? I'm like, hey, I'm on a weapons profile. That means no ammo, right? Are we going to be handling live ammo? He's like, yeah, you can't be around live ammo. So he said, hey, call your first one. I'm like, I don't have his number, but I got my platoon sergeant's number. So he called my platoon sergeant on my phone and didn't answer because my platoon sergeant is the greatest thing on earth next to Jesus because he served 3 years in Ranger Bat, got kicked out, And when he tried to go back in, got rejected because he got an Article 15 and just, thinks he's better than everybody. Not understanding that, hey, maybe there's a reason I'm calling him and he can answer. I've never seen that before. He's not using, I'm a platoon star. How dare he call me? Thing. So I'm like, hey, am I good? He's like, yeah, dude, just go back to your unit. I'll tell my first sergeant. They'll tell your first sergeant. I was like, okay. So I'm walking back to Red Devil's Cough. I get a phone call from the staff sergeant. And then he goes, why the fuck did you call the platoon sergeant? I'm like, because I was told to. Yeah, because I was told to. By who? I'm not supposed to be in the ammo point. He's like, so we went back there like, okay, so this staff sergeant, I don't understand like how he didn't know this. He's like, you're in a weapons profile. That means you just don't touch weapons. Does that make sense? I'm like, yes, you understand a no weapons profile means no weapons and no munitions, right? So no grenades, no live ammo, no none of that. Because like, if I'm suicidal and there's a fucking frag right there, all I gotta do is pull like knit. That's why they do that.
Right.
No
right.
live munitions, no weapons.
Agreed.
And if it's really far enough, no knives either. But anyway, so my platoon sergeant, who is a 13-year E7, somehow a senior NCO didn't know this either. He's like, do you have a copy of your profile? I'm like, oh yeah, let's print it up. So then they had to talk to the medics, and the medics confirmed, no, I could not go handle live ammo. My platoon sergeant sat there quietly. I don't know if he was like, oh shit, he's right. Or if he was just like, all right. So I leave to go pack for JRTC. And I get a phone call, get back in the office. And then platoon sergeant goes, everybody get out. Platoon sergeant, how dare he? Mind you, what I'm about to tell you, this was the day after my Article 15. Goes to the door, he goes, all right, you're being initiated for Chapter 14C. And he gives me the counseling. And I'm like, all right, saw this coming. Because during that time, he was just counseling me. He was counseling me on bullshit, too.
Yeah, I was about to say. So
manipulating me into agreeing with a counseling.
Right. They were building a packet on you is what they were doing.
Yeah. He manipulated me into agreeing to signing a counseling that said that I had alcohol while in voluntary sub C, and that's a chapterable offense. When they told me to stop drinking, I stopped drinking. I had liquor and booze in my room, and they told me to throw it away. I'm sorry, motherfucker. Did you spend money on that, or did I? I wasn't going to keep it, though, so I was trying to give it away. And my platoon sergeant, when I told him he was trying to give it away, he didn't say shit to me. Later, he started going to other people, didn't talk to me about it, goes to other people and goes, this guy's a fucking alcoholic. That doesn't make any sense.
That's the ASAP comment that we were talking about, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then they initiate the chapter on me. Now, mind you, we had 3 dudes in our platoon at this time that popped out for coke, and 2 of them were getting general discharges. So I said, all right, whatever. You can get back in after getting chaptered out. And I had a good attorney at that time. Am I at least getting an honorable? And then he goes, no, just from this misconduct these past 3 weeks. So the counseling he was giving me that he was just stacking on me from the field event. Shit he was making up himself. You're getting another than honorable. And I went, I started laughing. And then I said in my mind, you know what? I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking kill. And I didn't say this out loud. I'm going to fucking kill myself. So then he gives me this Post-it note. And I'm standing there smiling. Like, my PO goes, hey, Shoker, do you want to go to JRTC still? And I'm like,
fucking what?
I said, sir.
What?
Sir, I'm not fucking thinking about that right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, you want to go to JRTC? Talk about fucking not reading the room. Holy shit. Fuck.
Hey, not going to insult him. That was one of the best platoon leaders I ever have. I love that man.
Do you think
Eisenhower.
Do you feel he felt awkward
yes,
though? Did you feel like he felt awkward though, and all that kind of like? Yes. Do you still want to go to JRTC?
He also had my back too the entire time. I love that man, Lieutenant Eisenhower, and yes, he has a dad who's General Eisenhower out of Fort Hood.
Oh, so it's that hilarious. Eisenhower? Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, his son was my PL.
Gotcha.
Both are excellent officers.
Gotcha. Okay.
And how can you not be an excellent officer with a last name like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, spelled differently than the other Eisenhower. Yeah.
It's I with an I.
Yeah, exactly. So, so at this point.
So here's what happened.
So go ahead.
Here's what happened, right? He gives me this Post-it note and he's like, all right, I need you to get these done. My enlistment contract for the chapter. And I'm like, yes, Sergeant, I'm going to go to my barracks room and get my enlistment contract for you. So then I go to my locker, get my rucksack. Cause in my kit, I had my battle belt and I had I had a 7-inch K-bar. I got in my truck and I drove back to the barracks. I took my ruck upstairs, went in my room, and I said, all right, it's time to kill myself. So then I took out my knife. See if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, so don't mean to be insensitive. I'm not making fun of suicide. I want to make the audience uncomfortable, but I got to tell the story
Go
how
ahead.
it is.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I've already told the audience that this is going to happen. Go ahead.
Cut down the street because you cut down the street for results. You cut across the street for attention. And I was like, fuck. And it wasn't working. I managed to, there's a whole line right here. I don't know if the camera can see it.
We can see it.
And I was like, then I stopped and I went, maybe I should get help. And then I got mad and then I was like, fucking Anthony, fucking England, fucking. So I said, fucking. I was like, all right. So then I took the knife this way and I put it here and I went, and then just then my arm popped open. So I sliced through my tendon down to the bone. And then I dropped the knife and then I went to pick it up with this hand to try to, finish the job. And I went, I completely cut off all motor function of my hand. It was literally, this is how it was. I could only move my forearm. That was it. And there was a gash about this wide. And immediately it was like a faucet turned on, just blood straight on, not squirting, just a river of blood. And like I was standing there and it even splashed on the ground. There was so much blood. And I'm standing there and I'm like, then all of a sudden my heart started pounding. And then I felt like whenever I was on a jump, I was full of adrenaline. And then I went, wait a minute.
You're losing.
My hand's not working.
Yeah, you're losing blood. Yeah.
I'm losing blood. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to die. So I got my phone out and tried to call 911. And it failed because on that day, AT&T's towers were down for maintenance. So then I ran out of my barracks room to get service. And I left my car keys inside my barracks room. I'm like, wait a minute. And I locked myself out of my room. And I'm like, oh shit, my IFAC's in there. Everything to save my life was in there. So then on the 4th floor of building 3019 on Fort Liberty, I stood there and, it was about 10 o'clock, 10:30. So everyone was still at work. I was the only one there. And I was getting dizzy. I stood there for a little bit and I was like, oh shit, man, I'm losing a lot of blood. I started getting pale. But I knew if I went outside, 911 would eventually connect me to a cell tower, right?
Right.
And I called 911 and I got a hold of him and I started getting dizzy. He's like, 911, what's your emergency? And I was like, hey, what's up, man? I just tried to kill myself. And this is what the operator says. You just tried to kill yourself, huh? I'm like, yeah. That's what I thought. How'd you do it, man? I'm like, I took a K-bar to my arm and I'm fucking bleeding out. What's your location? I'm like, I'm in the 1st Brigade Barracks. At the time, I didn't know my building number.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, shit, I got to go downstairs and get the building number. So I'm pacing the barracks, bleeding all over the fucking barracks. And then I'm like, oh, God, this is fucking terrible. And then they're like, I started going, I didn't realize this, but I was not losing consciousness and falling down, but I was like mentally going out. And then I started getting cold too. I was getting like, I was shivering and I was like, man, I really fucked myself. I'm bleeding out. Nobody's here. This guy on the phone's a fucking asshole.
I was about to say, he's a prick.
So then all of a sudden, 4 dudes show up from my company. 4 dudes from 2nd Platoon BCO. And if these guys are watching this, I thank you guys every day for what you did for me. They walked past me, completely walked past me. So from what I understand, these guys just thought I was drunk on like a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon in the barracks in uniform. And I was like, she asked him for help. And I went, oh, fuck. These guys are going to get freaked out. I wasn't thinking clearly. That was my mindset at the time. It's like, oh, I better go downstairs. And then the operator goes, I started going out like this. He goes, hey. I'm like, yeah. Is there somebody there? Yeah, there's like 5 guys here. And then he goes, ask them for fucking help. I went, okay. And I turned and I'm like, oh, shit. I see him. I'm like, hey. And as I turn around, those dudes actually saw the blood. They looked at the blood.
Did they, if they
stopped and were like, why is there blood? And as they're standing there, I'm like, hey. And they're like, they turn around. I'm like, hey, can you guys help me? It's like this. And they're like, I picked my arm up like this and it was just dangling. I'm like, I just tried to kill myself. And they said, holy shit. So this one dude, his name is Munoz. He pins me against the wall and pinches me like this. And I'm just like, oh. And then that dude put the tightest fucking tourniquet I have ever had on. I think he got 4 or 5 twists in there. I don't know how, but I felt that. And then the other dudes got their IFACs out. They were holding me up, talking to me. Apparently, I was saying shit that I don't remember. I was like, I'm a failure. I'm a piece of shit to my family. I don't remember saying this shit, but they said I was saying this, right?
Yeah.
So then Munoz took my hand and he begins with both fingers like this to my wound, just stuffing me with combat gauze. And I don't remember feeling pain like that in my life. And as he was doing that, he was hitting all my tendon and nerves, and my fingers were doing this, and I wasn't controlling it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was stuffing it in there. And then I was like, ah. Then he wraps an ace wrap around me. And then they got an ambulance to the barracks, and I go downstairs, and I sit down, and I was like, oh, shit. I lost a lot of fucking blood. An MP comes up to me, and she goes, where's the knife? Where's the knife? And I'm like, it's in my fucking room. And then she goes, why did you do this? And I'm like, I just broke down crying, and I'm like, because they're trying to chapter me. And then I was like, I hate those fucking, I'm not going to say the words I call my leadership for obvious reasons.
Right.
I hate them. You keep them away from me. Well, we have to tell them. I'm like, I know you have to tell them. You keep those motherfuckers away from me. And my platoon sergeant and a staff sergeant, another E5 from the platoon, sprinted over. And my platoon sergeant looked terrified, like he was shaking and sweating. And then I get in the ambulance. Those EMTs were great. They were like mad at my leadership. They didn't even know me. They're like, man, fuck those guys for this.
Right.
Made me laugh on the way to the hospital. So I get to the hospital. And I was like, I guess people had to yell at me for me to hear them. I don't know what my state was.
Right.
I guess maybe I was yelling when I was trying to talk. I'm like, please keep my leadership away from me. And then this ER nurse in Womack, who this woman don't take shit from anybody, said, you're going to conduct yourself like a soldier. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry I yelled at you. She's like, no, it's fine, honey. Now look, I'm going to leave your phone here for you. I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm going to leave it with you because you've had a bad day. I'm like, keep them away from me. Okay, that you're right. I'll tell your leadership they can't come in here. I'm like, thank you. And I heard her yelling at my leadership, like, he doesn't want to see you, and it's his right. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you, whoever that was.
Yeah. You still don't know who wanted to see you, though, right?
No, it was one of the NCOs who counseled me for some bullshit.
Gotcha.
Motherfucker. And I didn't want to see that prick. So he had to sit between the glass door and the ER, and I was just sitting in my bed. I was fucking cold. And then they come in and like, hey, honey, we got to draw blood from you. And I'm like, go to my barracks. There's plenty over there.
Even okay. I'm trying not to laugh, but I get the.
You can laugh. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I was about to say there's blood on the floor for you to get. Is that what you're saying? Is that you were being sarcastic to them? So then, at this point,
go ahead.
My
CO shows up to the hospital, and she comes in there, and then I see her, and I'm like, what the fuck is she doing here? And I'm not dumb. I was a former NCO at that time. She didn't have to be there, but she clearly cared. And I'm like, all right, maybe she cares. So I invited her in my hospital room with the dude. And the first thing she says to me goes, just because you're not good at this doesn't mean you won't be good at other things.
Oh, my God.
Oh, so fast forward to the hospital. The weekend provider in 6 South told me, I was like, yeah, she said this. And the psychiatrist in Womack was like, your commander said that to you? Yeah. What a bitch. Okay, back to it. So we're talking, and then all of a sudden my adrenaline just went away, and I just felt pain. Like when they unwrapped me, I saw my artwork. So a piece of my tendon was hanging out of my arm, and I was like, oh, damn. I really fucked myself up.
Mm-hmm.
I had to move my hand like this. It would flop around. I had no movement in my hand, and I was just like, in that moment, was I freaking out? I mean, no. I understood anatomy, and I did it to myself, and why am I going to bitch about something I did to myself? You know what I mean?
I was going to ask you at this point, is this the first time you've spoken about it? Like said the story like you're saying right now? Is this pretty much?
I made a YouTube series about this on my channel, Cobra One.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I went into surgery. I had to have someone help me take my pants off because they're like, hey, we need naked for surgery. I went, okay. I went to go take my pants off, and you forget like I said, you appreciate something when you don't have it anymore.
Right.
I went to go use this hand, and my hand was just folding against my pant leg, and I'm like, God damn it. Ah. So then, had to help me get naked, which I was embarrassed by. I was like, all right. So they put me under, and then they gave me surgery. And I woke up, and my platoon leader was there. My own platoon leader, Lieutenant Eisenhower, an officer, someone who doesn't have to do this, volunteered to be the guy to watch me because he cared that much. And I woke up from surgery. It was him in the chaplain there, and then they sent me off to 6 South. And then I got to 6 South, went to bed because it was late when I got out of the fucking surgery. And then woke up and I met my psychiatrist, Dr. Russin. She called me in her room. And then I just sat down and then everything hit me. I just broke down crying, banged my fist in the table. And then she's like, "You still suicidal?" And I said, "Yes, I wish I succeeded. I wish I fucking died." And I was yelling. I'm like, "I fucking hate my platoon sergeant. I fucking hate my commander. I fucking hate everybody. Fuck them all and shit, And then, she put me on some medication. And then this is where some things were getting weird. All right, so told you who my battalion commander was, Lieutenant Colonel Wu Shin.
Right.
He was the battalion commander of 1504. Guess who his wife is? Lieutenant Colonel Shin, the deputy chief of behavior health at Fort Liberty. So here's what was going on with that. So I had my session with my psychiatrist. She goes, your commander told me some things. I'm like, what? I asked about you, and she said that you're perceived as threatening and that there's 5 soldiers terrified that you're going to discharge from Womack and come after them. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, was this the 5 guys that saved me? That can't be right. Like, to this day, I love those dudes. I'll have a beer with them right now.
Right.
Were these the dudes that reported me? And I'm like, well, that's more reasonable. So then in my state of mind, I was like, hey, I can't do this. So I left and I hopped on the phone and I called my commander because I got her number. And I let her know, hey, if there's any concern about the guys that reported me, I'm the one that fucked up here. I have no interest in coming after them whatsoever. I don't fully know where that came from. And to this day, if those guys are out there, you guys are fine. I did the dumb shit, not you. So then she's like, oh, yeah, you just say off-putting comments. And I'm like, I did the dumb shit, not you. So then she's like, platoon sergeant was calling his own soldiers pole smokers. What the fuck do you mean off-putting comments? We were calling, everything was in play.
Right.
In 3rd platoon.
Right.
All of a sudden, and then I thought, well, maybe people didn't know me and I said the wrong thing at the wrong time, and that's reasonable. But then I'm like, what the fuck? So then I told her, hey, I want to let you know, ma'am, as well. I'm going to my separation board because, as you know, when you're 6 years in and initiate a chapter on you, you have a set board. She then hangs up the phone, and later that day, she comes in the hospital with this shitty grin on her face, and I'm like, I was creeped out by it. So we go into this room, and she acts fake sweet, like she cares, but she actually doesn't. That's what I was told about her. We sit down in this room. She's like, hey, how's your hand? I'm like, I can move it now. And then she's like, here, we have this for you. So I open up this manila folder, and it's a letter of intent recommending me for other than honorable discharge. And I'm like, she goes, so what do you think about that? And I'm like, this is a lot. By the way, so I've got Captain Basali and Major Patnari coming in here to give you your chapter assessment. And good news, there's a chance for a possible med board for you. And my first thought is, how do you know that? What do you mean, a possible med board? And also, to me, tell me if I'm wrong, Ramos, all right? I told her I'm going to my set board. Was she trying to say here, take the med board or you'll get this? That's what I thought.
And my biggest thing is that why would behavioral health be acting like this? This is stuff that just blows me the fuck away.
All right. So let's get into this. The whole reason we're here.
Right.
You have the records I sent you, right?
Yep.
What we're going to go over now is the C assessment. So here's what happened. So we sat down with Captain Basali, and I'd seen her before during my weekly checkups. She starts asking me about my behavioral health history, and she starts asking me about jobs I've had. I'm like, yeah. Every time she asked me a question, she never let me finish answering and just moved on to the next question. At one point, she said, do you know who you are? And I'm like, yes, I know who I am. I'm. And she said, okay, next question. And I'm like, what the fuck is? I felt like I felt disturbed.
Right, dude.
This is day 2 after I had just tried to kill myself. I'm still fucking recovering from that trauma, and they get this. What the fuck? So then she comes in, does the assessment, and they diagnose me with other specified adult personality disorder with borderline features. So from what I understand, I don't have too many facts to give. They wanted me to get diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. That's a quick, easy chapter 514 out the army, common and basic training. But I wasn't giving them shit for that because I don't have any personality disorder. And you read, first of all, they referred to me in that documentation as a cisgender male. What the fuck is that? You remember reading that, right?
Yeah. I'm just that detail. That's a whole nother fucking. That's another 5-hour podcast, bro. On that part, I don't think she's trained. No, I don't think she's been. I'm sorry. I'll let you continue. Go ahead.
So she also puts in my medical records, and she asked me about jobs I had before the army. So I had 2 jobs before the army. I was a cook at McDonald's, and I was a busser at an Italian restaurant. I was 16, and I told her that I said some dumb shit to my boss, and I got fired. And she used that and said that I have personality issues and I can't get along with anybody. Yeah, because clearly, from the time I was 16 to the time at that time when I was 25, I never grew or anything like that.
I mean, at least you had recollection that you worked at McDonald's, like some people. I'm just saying, So just go ahead. That was a political joke I just made, so that way.
Nah, you're good. But anyway, and after this, I'm like, why was I given this diagnosis? Oh yeah, you want to talk about that, right? And I'm like, so what do you want to do when you get out of the army? I'm like, I want to be a cop. Oh, you can't be a cop with this diagnosis of other specified adult personality disorder, which, by the way, not true. Departments don't even fucking care. If your DD 214 is honorable, departments don't fucking care, especially if you go for a local sheriff's office.
Well,
but at this time, I didn't know that.
Some police departments don't even care.
Exactly.
Some of them don't care. They have their own psychology profile that they go through on their own, because I'll be honest with you, just like how some of the army training is considered to us important or whatever, qualifying. It's not qualifying in the civilian world. So, but go ahead. I'm sorry, didn't mean that. Yeah. So now at this point, you got the fucking letter.
So I'm asking her questions, right? Sorry, I'm asking her questions, and I'm like, I'm almost schooling her as to giving her logical reasons as to why I don't have this disorder. And she goes, and then she tells me, hey, you gonna want to be a cop? Oh, that's not gonna happen. Isn't there another career you want to do? Like, whoa. So you pick my career, right? You have all the power in the world as a behavioral health officer to pick my career by labeling me as a Looney Tune or whatever. Man, fuck you, bitch. No, fuck that. Then I'm schooling her a little bit. I'm like, so maybe this is a more logical reason. Like, I'm going through some shit. And I'm actually giving her some logical points why I don't have anything really that wrong with me. She goes, hey, it was great talking to you. And she shook my hand and then left Womack like a bat out of hell. So here's also what happens. So everyone goes to JRTC. And I'm sitting in Womack in 6 South, coloring, journaling. That's all you can do, really. And the front desk lady goes, hey, Bill, so-and-so, one of my buddies from my platoon has called you, and he wants to speak to you. And I'm like, okay. So I got his phone number, and I called him on the kitchen phone. And he was like, hey, how you doing, man? I'm like, dude, this is fucking crazy. England recommended me for an OTH. Like, what the fuck, man? I know I fucked up. I didn't deserve this. So the next day after this, I don't know what happened. First, my platoon sergeant, who I was just shitting on earlier, he told me how much this impacted him. So that day when I slit my wrist on my way to the hospital, he went back to his office, and my platoon sergeant sat in his chair, and he just stared at the wall. He couldn't talk to anybody. And I thought, so here's something I want to tell about my platoon sergeant. As much as I'm shitting on him, out of this whole thing, I'm the least mad at him. It's obvious that dude's fucked in the head. Not just from me, but from the squad leaders. So NCO to NCO, the other squad leaders were like, "Hey man, watch out for Sergeant Anthony. He gets in his moods. It's bad." So I aimed at Dr. Ramos. I think from my time at Womack and seeing people that my platoon sergeant might have borderline personality disorder, and it makes sense. If not, something wrong with him because he would go off, and it concerned a lot of people. New Joes, whatever, fuck Joe, let him get traumatized a little bit. But when other NCOs are concerned, it's like.
Now, did anybody at all come out and say, "Hey, I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that did like the CSM come down, did the battalion commander come down and say,
nope,
I mean, nobody wanted to talk to you. It's almost like after your suicide attempt, you were like, fucking.
So I did talk to the CSM months later, but I understand that JRTC was happening. Now, my platoon leader and my squad leader, both squad leaders, Sergeant Erickson and my other squad leader, fuck, I just forget his name. Fuck, he's gonna be so mad I just forgot his name. Other great dude. They came and visited me along with my platoon leader. They all visited me to see how I was doing. A lot of other people came to visit too, but there was no time for them because JRTC was happening. But as far as my battalion commander,
okay, if you're excusing them for that, then that's okay. But for me, I would have thought that they would have made at least a few minutes to come out and see you. You know what I mean?
Sergeant Major, CS, and battalion commander, no, they didn't come out. But I will tell you, Frame. If you guys don't know who Frame is, you know that meme that I think you posted, that Fancy Bear posted, of the Sergeant Major saying, "Don't eat pizza at the Land F site." That was my Sergeant Major that gave me my first reading. That was him. For those who don't know, I don't know why he couldn't come down. I didn't think he was obligated to, but I will tell you that man's an excellent Sergeant Major, and he gives a fuck about his guys. But going into this, I told my buddy, "Hey, dude, this is crazy." And then he tells me what happened, how my platoon sergeant was affected, and I tried calling my platoon sergeant. So I was trying to pick a time. When were they going to be in their bunks? Because before JRTC, they're just getting vehicles unloaded. When is my platoon sergeant going to be free? Because I felt guilty. I'm like, I got to let this dude know that this wasn't solely his fault.
Right.
I don't want him to go in the box like that. I got to let him know that. But I kept calling, and apparently they locked their phones in lockers for that rotation. So I was like, okay. At least he knows I tried to reach out to him. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he'll take that with him. And I was glad I could do that. Next day, my psychiatrist, I was walking. One of the nurses came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Bill, come here. Could you not call your unit leadership at 11 o'clock at night?" And I'm like, all right, for those who don't know, when you're in Womack 6 South, bedtime's at 9 p.m., 2100. You were not up past that. And you're off the phones by like 8:30.
Right. I was about to say, so who fucking called them?
And also, Louisiana is an hour behind us. So if it was 9 p.m. here,
it was 8 there.
So they're like, "Could you not call at 8 p.m. at night?" And I was like, then they started saying some other stuff that like I'm trying to turn soldiers against my CO. So I got mad at this nurse and I was like, "Hey, I'd like to go now." She's like, "Okay." So then I had my daily sit down with Dr. Russ, and so she sits down with me and she's like, "Bill, got a phone call from my boss." I'm like, "Yeah, what's this about?" So my boss's boss and Colonel Shin, the deputy chief, this is where she comes in, told me your commander during, because you have to talk to the commander before you sit down with a soldier.
Yeah.
That you're trying to rally the troops against her and that it was inappropriate to call a private who. This private was a team. This private was a team leader in weapon squad. I was also a team leader. That's why we were friends. Also, during this JRT rotation, guess what they put him as? A fucking weasel, a weapon squad leader. So she was gaslighting the situation, trying to say, "Yeah, he called a private. That's just so inappropriate." First of all, I was a specialist at that time. You took my fucking stripes. What was inappropriate about talking to another Joe? Anyway,
I'm about to say that. Why would they care? Why would they care why you're talking to your teammates, anyways? And who's feeding them this bullshit that you're rallying people against her?
I don't know. Maybe. So that soldier that I'm talking about was really close with the commander. I don't know what he said. I don't fucking know. Maybe he was like, "Yo, man, what the fuck? Why is he getting an OTH? He's not a bad dude." Or maybe that happened. I don't know. But all of a sudden,
why is your commander close to privates?
Oh, no, another thing, too. So she was most likely, so I was talking to some of the boys I still talk to there. Apparently she's not there anymore, but apparently she may have been fucking this dude. Because I'm not gonna say that she was.
But the barracks, the smoke pit, saying that she was.
And when she's like, "Hey, so and so," like acting really like, I'm like,
"Fuck, man."
And we're watching it. You're like,
so then you get to. Go ahead.
My psychiatrist says, so here's what happened. She bitched to Lieutenant Colonel Wu Shin. He then called his wife, the deputy chief, who then called the major in charge of Womack, who then talked to my psychiatrist about this. You see how that was going on?
Yeah, exactly.
And then she was like, she said, you need to tell Shelker to limit his phone use. And then my psychiatrist said, first of all, he is not a prisoner here. He is a patient. And if you want to tell him that, you can call him yourself. You have our phone number.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. So
my psychiatrist looked me in the face and said, it sounds like your chain of command is targeting you.
Yeah. I mean, we could have said that from the beginning of the podcast, but I'm just saying. But pretty much, yeah. That's the impression that I'm getting, is that there was some serious fucking targeting here. So then, now at this point, how long were you in 6 South?
I was there for like 2 weeks, and then I discharged, and my psychiatrist said, we think he should move companies. This is they saw immediately, they knew that England was a problem, that she was targeting me, and they wanted me to get the fuck away from her for the sake of my mental health. The battalion commander, I don't know if it was him or what, they said, no, he's staying where he is. And then I tried to move platoons to get away from my platoon sergeant, because that fucker, like, granted, he has some mental health issues. He still did me dirty, and I wanted to get away from him, because I feel for him, but I'm not going to let him get into a mood and try to wreck me. Like, not letting that fucking happen. So they said, hey, you're not moving. You're going right back when everyone comes back to same platoon, same company. And I went to Rear D after I discharged, and I met Captain Roth. He was the Rear D commander. He was the S6 OIC, the comms guy. He started seeing me. It was very simple. Like, it was so easy. Show up here, stay here, and then go here. He said, you don't seem bad. I guess he was bad. England was bad-mouthing me, calling me a piece of shit or whatever. I don't know. But he was shocked to see me. He was like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, you want to stay in? I'm like, yeah, I want to fucking stay in. And if I'm getting kicked out, I'm not getting kicked out with an OTH. I don't deserve that shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So then he tells England that I'm going to my step board. And immediately her response is, wait, I'll get him an honorable. Listen to this. You recommended an OTH because you're fair and impartial when recommending reward and punishment, right? And she said, don't worry, I'm not the decider here. And an OTH is not that big a deal, when she gave me the letter of intent in the hospital.
Right.
All of a sudden, when I said I'm going to my step board, she said that I'm going to get an honorable. So then, I'm going to work every day, and I'm going to my behavioral health appointment. So I had one behavioral health appointment. I sat down with him in that little iPad sheet that you fill out.
Yep.
Are you suicidal or are you not? There's an option where you can click through it without answering yes or no. I went through the whole thing because I didn't give a fuck. And I went in there because I was mad about my diagnosis. Because at that time, I'm like, I want to be a fucking cop. This is what I want to do. And you people think because you got some rank that you can ruin the rest of my life? Like, fuck you.
Right.
So I went in there, and then this captain was like, you have to do this, or we have to send you to the hospital. And I'm like, no. When I was in Campbell going through therapy, my therapist said, hey, man, if you think do not lie to me, all right? If you don't want to answer a question, just don't answer it. And then what she would do is I would literally not answer half the questions, and she would make an assessment herself if I needed to go to the hospital or not. This dude looked at me and said, you got to fill this out, or we're going to have to send you back to the hospital. Like, no. Maybe talk to me. Ask me human to human. Are you feeling suicidal? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Show me you fucking care about the soldier. So then I'm like, I'm getting a little aggressive. I'm like, I want to go to fucking get a reassessment done. I don't have a condition. And then he's like, okay, well, you might not get it. You might not get it. And
So
I'm like,
how long did it go before you got your final disposition of your discharge?
All right, so I discharged May 15th, 2024. This was back in March and February when I attempted. So here's another thing too. So I attempted suicide again, and when I wound myself up back in the hospital, here's what I did. During this whole thing, I'm like, how are they changing the recommendation? There is so much shady shit going on. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? So I said, you know what, fuck. And when I discharged from Womack, I was already planning my suicide attempt again in Womack. The medications they gave me, I did research on them, found out I can't OD on them, so I decided to go with sleeping pills. I went to the PX and I bought the exchange brand version of the sleeping pills. I got the 72 packs. Got 2 boxes of those, so I had about 100 and 140. So one night, what I did is I planned it out. I popped them all out of their little popper things. I put them in a plastic bag. But then I went, wait a minute, this looks like ecstasy. So I ripped out the little label that said sleeping pills, put it in the bag, and threw out the boxes. My plan was to take all that shit and throw it away so that if they found me, they couldn't figure out what I was on and it would prolong my demise. So one night, and I wasn't sleeping. I was not sleeping. I get off of extra duty at 23 and I would just stay up because I was just, every night was heart pounding. Every night I just couldn't handle my shit. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So I took 2 pills at a time, down to about 10. Then I took about 5 at a time, got myself up to 70. Then I got to 100. And the next thing you know, I was at 140. And at one point, I was like, don't people die when they do this? And then I'm like, yeah, I'm invincible. Nothing's going to kill me. And then I got to the last pill. And then all of a sudden, a fucking rush of bolts was going through my neck. And my head started pounding. Like, it felt like someone was hammering the inside of my brain. I was like, and I felt my eyes. I was like, holy shit. And then I'd stop, and then all of a sudden, like, I felt everything was heavy. Like, my finger felt like 30 pounds. So then I called the staff through the NCOIC because, I was like, Sergeant, come here. He's like, hey, brother, what's up? I'm like, Sergeant, I fucked up. What, dude? I took over 100 sleeping pills.
Ugh.
So then they got Sergeant Smith, the medic, another E5 who was in my company. He came here and he's like looking for what pills I took because you should take melatonin. And I'm like, no, you can't overdose on melatonin, first of all.
Yeah.
I did my research.
You might get sick, but I've never heard anybody smoke, doing that on melatonin. So.
And I told them I just exchanged brand sleeping pills. So EMTs show up. And by the way, I was on the 4th floor of the barracks and the EMTs made me walk down the stairs. And I'm literally like to the railing. I'm like, oh, shit. My eyes are starting to pop out of my head. And I'm throwing up. So I threw up twice on my way. And my vision's going blurry because my pupils are starting to severely dilate. I was throwing up black. So you know what that means. I was bleeding internally from the pills. I get in the ambulance, and then I throw up again. And all of a sudden, I'm paralyzed, and then I'm back. And then the EMT's looking at me like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going in and out. And then all of a sudden, my head starts like convulsing and shit. So then all of a sudden, I'm paralyzed, and I see a white light. Now, I wasn't dying and seeing heaven. My pupils were like this.
You're graying out.
So yeah, exactly. So all I could see was white. I was whiting out. And then the same ER nurse that I remember came and saw me, and she's like, hey, and she knew it was me. And she's like, hey, honey, I need you to look right here. And I'm like, and I said in my mind, yes, ma'am, I'm here. I can see you. And then she goes, okay, guys, he's unresponsive. And I'm like, whoa, I'm fucking dying. I wasn't moving shit. Like, then all of a sudden, everything went black. So 2 days, I was in a trip, the worst trip of my life. I don't remember tripping balls, like, because when you overdose, your memory gets wiped. But here's what was happening that night. I puked 6 times. I was pissing on nurses. So one male nurse came up to me. I don't know, I got violent. And Smith, who was watching me, said that I just attacked that dude. I punched him as hard as I could, and they had to hold me down. And they had to have security come in and watch me. I don't remember this shit whatsoever. But I tried to escape the hospital multiple times. I tried to run. Like, I was in war in my mind. I don't remember any of this shit. And then all of a sudden, Smith, I didn't even remember that Smith was watching me. I just remember him in my barracks room. And then all of a sudden, my buddy Moreno was there. And Moreno was like, hey, dude, you know where you are? I'm like, yeah, I'm somewhere in Womack. And like, the other female nurse came to me, was like, oh, thank God. And her husband, who was also there, they were both officer nurses on shift. Her husband's the guy I punched. The dude kept looking at me like this, like, And I'm like, why is this dude trying to size me up? Why is he watching me? When I found out, I tried to fight him.
So
that dude was
So how long were they? I mean, what did they give you anything? What they said? Hey, you
Ativan. They put me on a shit ton of Ativan to calm me down
Okay,
because
I
I
was
was
about to say.
belligerent. I was like, they were just putting fluids in me. I don't even think I ate. 2 days, I was just like, it was Sunday night, and then they woke me up, and Renee's like, "Oh, by the way, Shogun, I want to let you know it's Tuesday night." And I'm like, "What the fuck happened to Monday?" And the ER doctor comes in, fucking pervert. This guy's like a fucking pedophile. He's like, "Hello there," and I'm like, my head's still pounding. I could barely walk without someone helping me, and I'm like,
Let's get in your face, going, dude, shut up, just get out of my face.
I was about to punch him.
So at this point, then you were. Go ahead.
They sent me back to 6 South, but usually you're supposed to give it like a day in the ICU. No, once I was awake and alert and knowing where I was, they sent me straight to 6 South. I could barely fucking walk and my head was pounding. I go back to 6 South and I sit in the kitchen and I'm like, oh, my fucking head. And the nurses come sit down and they're like, oh my God, Bill. They were like, why are you back here? What the? I'm like, yeah. So they reinserted me in there, and then my psychiatrist, Dr. Russin, pulls me in. We have our session. She's like, so, I read your charts. It looks like you overdosed on Benadryl, which is the same ingredients as the sleeping pills I took, which is what they thought it was, because I made sure to throw that away. Like I said, I planned my demise to where if they did find me, they couldn't find what pill I was on. I thought maybe you did some research on your pills. And maybe you knew you couldn't overdose on the pills I was prescribed, and you went out and planned your suicide. And I lied to her. I said, no, that's not what happened. I was just in a like a I wanted to be in danger type of thing, and she believed me. But then I found out that they were trying to send me to JRTC to keep an eye on me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I told her, no, I tried to kill myself because I was not going to JRTC with those fucking people. I was not letting that fucking happen. And she's like, why'd you lie to me? I'm like, well, she was upset at me, but she cared. And we had this dude come in. So he was a master sergeant about to commission as a PA. And this dude was a special operations medic. And for those in the audience that don't know, anyone that's Army knows that on a special force Zodiac, you've got a weapons sergeant, Green Beret, you've got a engineer sergeant, you've got a comm sergeant, and a medical sergeant. Well, because there's only one medic and medics are so important, there's a thing called a special operations medic. That's where these dudes are qualified to be 18 deltas, but they're not 18 deltas and they get treated like shit. But they're in SOCOM, they're special operations medics. And that's what this dude was, and he was commissioning. So this dude was like a dream come true for me. He was like a leader that I strived to be like. He was reading my records with Dr. Russ and going, and I didn't understand why they were always concerned when they read my records. I didn't understand it until I read them myself when I discharged. So they were like, he's like, dude, you got to get away from England. You got to get as far away from her as possible.
Get away from the whole fucking unit. Get away from the whole fucking unit.
I considered going to Sergeant Major Della Pena. So I knew Della Pena because he was my brigade sergeant major when I was a private. And he helped me move to 1st Brigade when I got there because I wanted to go to 1st Brigade. I was not going back to 2 Fury 2nd Brigade. But because I knew Della Pena don't take this shit very well. He was, if he knew this was going on, Della Pena would fight somebody. That's the type of Sergeant Major Della Pena is. And he's the reason I PCS back to Fort Bragg. As soon as I heard he became Sergeant Major of the division, I went straight back to Fort Bragg. But he's like giving me advice on this, telling me this stuff. Be smart when you do the open door policy. And during this time, Captain Roth visited me and issued me a new chapter. So the chapter changed from a chapter 14 with a recommendation of another honorable discharge to a chapter 13, unsatisfactory performance with an honorable recommendation. And one of the charges on there was fraternization with junior soldiers. And the name on there was Captain Sean Martin.
What?
This fucking prick. So let me tell you about Captain Sean Martin. Captain Sean Martin was my platoon leader at Campbell. I had this son of a bitch do my re-enlistment. This dude was friends with my commander. They both went to West Point together. They didn't have enough to chapter me, So she called him, and they colluded together to have him lie about some shit that happened at Campbell. He said that he counseled me multiple times. Not once did I ever receive a counseling from Captain Sean Martin or First Lieutenant Sean Martin at that time. And also, let me tell you about Sean Martin from the 101st. When we were in Poland, that dude got drunk one night when we were in Krakow and was harassing local people. And the Polish kind of didn't want us there to begin with a little bit, but we tried to be friendly with them, let them know, hey, we're here to support you. He was drunk, making a mockery of the officer corps and our unit by saying, hey, he looked at some 7-year-old woman, was like, sup, Dyke? How you doing, Dyke? And I was an E5 at the time, and I went, hey, sir, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, the 101st really doesn't have a very good rep in Poland when
it was a fucking disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
So now you're getting ready to get discharged, and then what they finally give you?
So here's what happened. I come into my psychiatrist, Dr. Russell. She's like, hey, Bill, are you sure you didn't threaten Captain England? And I'm like, Dr. Russin, you know I didn't threaten her. Where the fuck is this coming from? Everyone knows I didn't. Well, Captain Graziano, this dude, I never met this dude, at least I don't think I did, has been going through my medical records, making appointments for me at the Romford Behavioral Health. He is the behavioral health asset that went forward with my unit, JRTC. On a daily basis, he was interacting with Captain England. And this is what I found out. Dr. Rustin told me she hated my commander. 6 South hated Captain England for what they were doing to me. They were like, it's almost like they were saying, fuck that bitch too. So Captain Rustin was like to Captain Graziano, I don't think his commander likes him. Well, first of all, why would she like me if I called her a bitch? What she was trying to get at was the targeting. And this is the response Captain Graziano gave. Well, I mean, he did threaten his commander's life. Regardless, let's say I did threaten her life. Behavioral health is supposed to be unbiased. You're there for the soldier. In 2021, when I was PCSing, we had a dude who had multiple shark complaints and was getting chaptered out. Guess what? He was like, holy shit, he went to behavioral health. No one tried to violate his HIPAA rights or do shit. They're like, hey, this guy needs all the help he can get. He's fucked right now. Unbiased. You're there for the soldier no matter what.
So
once she told me that, I said, what? And I said, what the fuck? So then I ended that session. I got up and left because it was almost like they wanted her to interrogate me and find out if I threatened her or
exactly.
not.
That's a sound again. And also made it seem like they're just going through your fucking medical records and picking apart what you're saying to fucking slam you even more. That's what it looked like too.
So then I went to the front desk and I said, hey, can I get the number for Fort Bragg IG? Got the number for Fort Bragg IG, and I called them like, hey, ma'am, I want to let you know I'm a patient in 6 South right now. I don't want to give you Looney Tune impressions or anything like that. I am not on any like antipsychotics or any narcotic medications. I'm stable. Listen, I'm being targeted. Here's what's happening. I got an Article 15, whatever, okay? My commander keeps telling Robinson Behavior Health that I threatened her life. After the 15-6 was concluded, it stated that all I did was call her a dumb bitch. She was at my first reading with Sergeant Major Frame, where he said the charges. If I threatened her, that would be a charge. There would be no question about it. If there was a sworn statement that said that, it would be a charge. And it wasn't. I read my 15-6. No fucking statement said that I threatened her. Then, Battalion Commander read my statement. At the second reading, same shit. I was charged with all the counts. Not one was for a threat. We're concluded. Like, let's say, look, telephone game happened. You're supposed to be as a commander, hey, there's allegations someone threatened you. All right, let's conduct an investigation. All right, I guess he didn't threaten me. Let's keep an eye on this guy. But, like, he didn't threaten me because no one's coming forward. No, she kept telling Behavior Health over and over again. I have documentation of this fucking bitch going in my records saying, oh, we have to kick him out with a Chapter 14C because clearly he's not a good fit for the military. Specifically already picking a chapter that's going to get me to an other than honorable discharge. I hurt her feelings, and like my roommate said, I never forgot it. She's going to take this as far as it goes. She wanted to ruin me because she's a spineless bitch who cannot handle mean words. She cried to the battalion commander. I'm more mad about the battalion commander because he let her do what she wanted. I bet if this was so 2 things. Go on to the 82nd Airborne's Facebook page. Her face is the center of that fucking profile picture. Go to Gavin Hall. Her face is the center down there. So they treated her like the princess, and she was able to get away with this shit. And that's what was going on. So then I discharged from the hospital. Right before I discharged, Dr. Rustin looked me in the eyes and said, Bill, and she was crying, please, for the love of God, because this woman, Dr. Hannah Rustin, my psychiatrist, was an angel sent here to this earth by God himself to watch over me, said, if you're having a bad time, just come back. You're more than welcome back, please. And I realized the impact that 6 South had when I attempted again and how much they fucking gave a shit about me. And I was planning my third suicide attempt while in there. I wrote an op-ord for my own suicide attempt. Here's what I was going to do. I was going to get a box cutter. I was going to cut down the street correctly. I was going to live stream it. I was going to go somewhere where it would be far enough away to where if they tracked where I was, they'd have to go a far distance. And then I was going to have some scotch as my last drink, and I was going to take more pills. So in case the slitting didn't work and they were there, I could overdose on the pills and die. That was my plan. And I was going to call all the names out of the individuals involved. But instead, I looked at her in the eyes and I went, damn it, I can't fucking do that to her. So if I ever had a bad time, I just used my coping skills like she taught me.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, brother. I mean, you are, and in talking with you for a while, you have every reason to live. I mean, shit, you got friends that talk about me to talk to you to talk about us. You know what I mean? So,
good old Hitch.
Yeah, Hitch.
Hitch told me, he texted me, he's like, hey, ask Ramos about his ring in the restaurant he had in Iraq. I said, that's the fucking moderator views telling me what the fuck, Mom.
It wasn't a restaurant. It was an ice cream shop. It was an ice cream parlor that it was, and not too many people know about this, but it was an ice cream parlor that there was an Iraqi. I was involved in an ambush. And at the time I didn't really know who it was. And then next thing you know, there's Ramos ice cream shop, our ice cream parlor, ice cream bar, what it was. And I pull over and I'm like, what the fuck? And then it comes out and it was the guy that I had saved with his family in that ambush near Solder City. That's a story I mean, Hitch will tell you that was fucking.
Yeah, that's a badass story right there.
I mean, it's funny, but it's not. I mean, but it's like, holy shit, because that was a bad ambush. At this point, you're out now, and you finally did get an honorable discharge.
Well, let me get it this way. So they changed the chapter, one, because they were scared that I was going to the board.
Okay.
And then they looked at my AMR files and saw my 3 Army Achievement medals. They saw my 2 Good Conduct medals and my NCOERs that said, hey, I'm not a piece of shit. And then they recommended an honorable instead of. She was just manipulative all the way. So after that IG complaint, I then said, move me clinic. So I moved out of Robinson and went to a new clinic. And Dr. Rustin put in my records in all caps. He refuses to go back to Robinson. And when I did that, they called me in and said, hey, we think your mistreatment is bad, so we're going to move you clinics. So I moved clinics, and I'm in West Liberty now. That's where I'm going, which is across the street from fucking Two Fury, my old battalion that I was part of first time in the 82nd. And I was there, and they're like, hey, so this is another thing you need to know, Ramos. This is what my therapist said at West Liberty. He said, I just want to let you know, Shoker, Robinson sends us people that they say are a fucking problem. But when I get them, all of a sudden they're fine. That stuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
So then what was your final disposition? What's your final discharge? What's your final?
So here's what happened. I went to my set board. And then 2 of the counselings they had on me were redacted. The board, what I wanted, I didn't want to get out. I wanted to stay in, but at the same time, I had to accept a discharge if it happened. I got an attorney, which is Phillips J. Law, a very well-known attorney at Fort Campbell who helped one of my soldiers out at that time. And he called me because he was in Iraq 03. He was in Panama in 89. He served a long career as a JAG and as an E5 before he got out. And he got my chapter pack and said, dude, I don't understand this. They got you on such minor stuff. Why are they doing this?
Right.
Because in his eyes, this is, let's correct the soldier. Because in those days, or even just 5 years ago or 2 years ago, it was, all right, this guy's a little fucked up. The lowest common denominator is your mission to fix. That's what the Army is. Not, oh, like their thought was I upset their ego, so now they have to ruin me and get rid of me because I'm a problem. Like, no, fuck that. So I go to my board, and the prosecutor was all cocky because he thought he was getting a bad dude out. But then he got more worried and concerned because none of my leadership, so they called four people, CO First Sergeant, my platoon sergeant, and the C6, who's a fucking bitch that counseled me for helping a suicidal. I got a counseling from this guy for helping a suicidal soldier. So that guy I told you about that did the racist thing, that got moved companies. They ordered the entire company, the entire platoon, not to talk to him because they hated him, and so they ostracized him. One night he was bad. He didn't say he was suicidal, but like I know signs. So I called his friend. His friend was on staff duty. The E6 came in, slammed the door in his face. So they called his leadership in, who began shitting on Captain England and all BCO 1504 because they hated her. They're like, why the fuck is so many people on extra duty from BCO? What the hell? And I told him that they ostracized him. So then, get this. That staff sergeant, who's Staff Sergeant Goodman, went to the company commander of SECO, who hated Captain England. He then took my roommate to IG, and they filed a complaint against England. Listen, Ramos, a company commander filed an IG complaint against another company commander. Is that common, or is that like, man, she's this much of a problem, this is what we got to do?
I have never heard of that shit.
Neither have I. It's always like, if you're a sergeant major with an issue with another sergeant major, what do? You guys go talk about it.
You go talk about it or take it to the wood line.
Goddamn right.
Okay, so then
they
go ahead.
So he counseled me for improper use of chain of command because I helped my roommate, and they tried to use that to chapter me. Luckily, that was redacted at the board. My CO comes in giggling like, I don't have a problem with him whatsoever. He's clearly just not a good fit for the military. Okay. And then there was allegations that I told my new roommate, because my old roommate, Seco, said, we need to get you the fuck away from BCO. They wanted him away from BCO. Like, they were like, these people are bad. So I got a new roommate, and they said that they got that roommate of mine to write a sworn statement saying that I called her a bitch again. They literally just pulled him in to try to get him to write a sworn statement saying something negative. And from what I understand, he said, no, I just told you what I thought of him and what other people have said that he said. But I guess maybe when he said what other people said that he said, maybe that included me calling her a bitch, and that they said, oh, we got him. So they came to my board saying that they got this sworn statement. But guess what? They didn't bring the sworn statement to the SEP board. Already looks like you're fucking lying.
Right, exactly.
So then when I first started, they called my platoon sergeant, and I hate this son of a bitch. And this son of a bitch better hope to God I never meet him face to face again. This son of a bitch made fun of my suicide attempt at my board. So they called my platoon sergeant, who was on emergency leave. And I feel for him. If he was going through some shit, leave him the fuck alone on emergency leave. Unless he wanted to call, then whatever. So when they asked about my performance, he's like, well, when he was in the field, he was just acting like a private. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't doing my best in the field. I was built up. I was worked up. Take responsibilities for that. But then here's the thing, though. They say he's acting like a private. What's the majority of the Army right now? It's E1s and E3. Okay.
Yeah.
And how am I?
And you're young. You're a kid. I mean, you like to make fun of my age, but you're a kid. You're fucking. You're young. You're acting young. You know that's not a. So with the evidence, let me take that back. With the lack of evidence.
So then they said, the prosecutor was trying to get why I deserve to be discharged. Why am I a poor performing soldier? And they just brought up, I talked to him. He looked like he gained weight, and he said that I said that he went through some stuff at the 101st, which obviously, the thing with Knapp and McGee. By the way, fuck JP McGee, piece of shit. And I'm glad Knapp got fired again. By the way, she has a wife and kids, and she did that. Fuck her too. Anyway, and he started going, yeah, and then he brought up my suicide attempt. And he's like, and then took him off as an initiate separation. He just kept saying, I need to go to my barracks room. I need to go to my barracks room. Not what happened. I just sat there and went, I'm going to go to my barracks room and get my contract for you. Then I went. So first of all, that's a lie. Second of all, you're admitting that you maybe saw signs that I'm troubled and you just let me go off. Retard. But anyway,
no,
this dude
right.
also.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they let the signs continue until your suicide attempts.
Mind you,
so
Mind you, this rant was because of the question why I'm a poor performing soldier. And he goes, and then all of a sudden I heard that there was a dude in the barracks with a tourniquet on his arm. So we ran to the barracks and we should have known. There he was, just lying on the floor. And I started getting fucking mad. I wanted to reach through that phone and beat that little midget motherfucker myself. But I'll never forget what James told me. Do not get mad. He got mad himself. And I looked over the board president, the major. He was getting fucking
I was
pissed.
about to say, what was his reaction?
They were all like, this is the goal I wanted at that board, was for them to see how retarded my fucking leadership was, so that if there was another separation that came to a board, that they could see that shit. Because they did not act composed. So then my attorney goes, all right, enough of this. This is not a fucking med board. Tell him to stop right now. And he goes, yeah. And then the major starts screaming, hey, sergeant, hey, sergeant. That's enough. You're permanently excused from this board. And anyone wants to call me on this bullshit, this board was recorded before Brigade Legal. It's probably also why I've gotten no comments on my YouTube channel saying that I'm a liar, because I'm not lying about anything I did.
So then,
and then this motherfucker. So then first sergeant comes in. They call my first sergeant in, and my first sergeant, I told you my first impression of this dude. This dude was such a douchebag. This dude wasn't even a real first sergeant, so he had the diamond because the actual First Sergeant James, I think he mentioned, he was the first sergeant of that company, a legendary first sergeant. He had to step away from some personal issues, so they put MCO in charge, my first sergeant. They call him in, and he's being professional. Oh, cool, he's being professional for once. And then he goes, we have to separate him. And when they ask him a question why I'm a poor performing soldier, he even backed up. One of my counselings were for losing my CAC. He's like, yeah, he lost his CAC. It's a standard counseling. You know, I'm like, okay. He's being professional, cool. And then he goes off and goes, we have to separate him. He's like, so my attorney asked him, so why didn't you guys try to rehabilitate him? We couldn't rehabilitate him. Why couldn't you rehabilitate him? Because he was in the hospital. Okay, why was he in the hospital?
I was about
we
to say.
sent him there because we care about him.
Oh
no,
my
you didn't send me there because you care about me. I was fucking bleeding to death and needed emergency orthopedic surgeon. You didn't just go, oh my goodness, my soldier needs help. Let's get him
Right.
Oh, you fucking pussy.
Right.
Sorry, almost broke that line.
It's
Oh,
okay.
you fucking bitch. You didn't fucking care. Here and also, here's the rehabilitative measures. Article 15, next day, initiate chapter, same day I attempted suicide. Where was the rehabilitative effort?
Right.
None whatsoever. And the regulation says you have to put in rehabilitative efforts, and they didn't fucking do that at all. So anyway,
so let's get to
he then starts going on saying he's constantly telling people he's gonna harm himself with pills. He doesn't get his way. He fucking causes a scene.
But any of this is not even substantiated. No one's fucking put sworn statements together. Nobody's putting fucking.
Listen to this, Ramos. He just said he's always telling people he's going to harm himself with pills. So after my second suicide attempt, I guess he said that I'm telling people that I'm going to harm myself with pills. First of all, not true. I never said. After my second suicide attempt, I realized how valuable life is. Pill overdosing is painful, and I never want to do it again. Second of all, if I am going around telling people that I'm going to harm myself after 2 brutal suicide attempts, I took 5 pills. No, I took 140 pills in an effort to fucking die. Okay? And you're telling me that you heard rumors of a soldier who just did that. You're a first sergeant who's responsible for the care of everyone in the company, to include the commander, and you're going to just not do anything. But wait till a set board to bring that up to say that I suck at being a soldier.
Exactly. So then the board finishes up, and then what after all that fucking screaming and yelling, what was the decision finally made?
Oh yeah, they called my my old PL, and they even sounded like he was lying. Oh, correct. I counseled him multiple times on this incident of fraternizing with soldiers. No. We were in charge of Company 2502. All right, I know you guys did something on 2502 back in 2022, 2023, when Sosa killed herself. You guys put that meme out, all right? You remember that? I was reaching out to you guys back then. I was there when that happened. So I was in charge of 2502. Fucking Martin was my platoon leader. We both go to HHC. I go to S3 because I asked to move. I was done with Charger. Charger was fucking ridiculous. And then I'm starting hearing stuff that I was fraternizing with dudes. I'm like, hey, sir. I took him aside. I'm like, what's this about me fraternizing with Joes? He's like, yeah, I heard you were getting too close to the Joes. And I'm like, okay. We were both out of Charger in HHC. He's not in my chain of command. He's a Scouts platoon leader. I'm an S3 driver for a Sergeant Major. And that's how that happened. He said that he counseled me multiple times. And they even tried to get those counselings to use against me, which, first of all, you can't do. To be destroyed upon reassignment or ETS, unless for a rehab transfer. Clearly says it at the bottom of the DA form 4856.
Pretty much.
And then he said, oh, I don't have them. I lost them. No, you fucking retard. You never typed them up because you're a fucking liar. That's what happened.
So then nothing's produced. Nothing comes out.
They recommend, they took 2 of those counselings and redacted them, but they found everything else true to include my Article 15 from Campbell, which was bullshit. And I'll gladly come on here and tell you all about 2502 and the 101st as well. But they recommend separation under honorable conditions. So granted, I went to the board. I let them know that I got some cojones because I'm not going to bend over and let some dumb bitch throw me out of the Army because I hurt her feelings. And redacted 2 of those counselings. And then my attorney said, I want the brigade commander to review the evidence. So then we leave. And my commander, as I leave the boardroom in 1st Brigade, she comes up to me and goes, hey, and then walks away. She was very immature and did shit like that. Like, yeah, you see that look on your face? That's not how a commander acts. But because she was the face of the division, and because some of the old heads are sexist, they just think this is how women are. And that's bullshit. There's some badass women that can serve, that are capable. And also, she was the face of the division, so they were letting her do what she wanted. My BC was letting her do whatever the fuck she wanted. Then I was dealing with my Flipple as well. So my Flipple, while I was in Womack, the 2nd suicide attempt, they went in my barracks room and took all my TA-50 to proxy clear me and lost it, and then said that I had to pay for it. Yeah, I did a Flipple with my attorney, and the battalion commander, after he recommended that I pay for everything, read my Flipple and went, oh shit. Captain England was like, hey, Shoker, you don't have to pay for anything. I'm like, oh, did the brigade commander read my Flipple? No, the battalion commander did. And I went, oh wow, it's almost like he knew he was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm about to say
so I went to CID. I went on our Army and said, what do I do? I went to CID and they said they can't do that. I was admitted to Womack. You can do that if someone's committed to a mental hospital, but committed. That means committed by a judge outside of a base. If you're admitted to a hospital, that's command referral. They also pulled me out multiple times to go to TDS to hurry along my chapter process. So they could have had me come out and had me turn in my gear. But no, they decided to kick me out very quick because the battalion commander was scared that I was going to kill myself and make him look bad. So they're trying to kick me out as fast as possible.
I was about to say that's what it was. It was a process out. So now that you're out, your discharge is honorable, correct?
Oh yeah, honorable. And on top of that, so my 214 does say unsatisfactory performance, but as you know, when you're out, your character is all that matters. And on top of that, there's 2 versions of the 214, one without your character and one with just your awards, and then one with your character discharge. You don't have to show people shit. Just tell them you're a veteran. I got a job as a diesel mechanic. It just says on my resume that I'm a veteran. They didn't need to see my 214.
Yeah, exactly.
And I already got hired. I'm about to be a junior diesel mechanic, which is going to be pretty interesting.
That's
but
good
anyway,
shit. Are you going to go through any apprenticeship journeyman program? That's awesome. A diesel mechanic.
I'm going to be working on. You're an old. Like I said, you're old. You know what the deuce and a half is?
Yeah. Oh,
It's a surplus company that works with. They buy old deuces, they fix them up, and they sell them to people, like Six Flags for their safari adventures and stuff.
So you'll be working on. So you'll be well, depending on which model year it was. You either worked on. You'll be working on a Cummins or a Detroit diesel engine. Because back growing up doing my diesel mechanic days, it was always an 8V71 Detroit diesel or an 8V92 Detroit diesel. So then now, what's your?
So hold on.
Go ahead.
I discharged.
There you go.
And my attorney calls me. So they didn't determine. So they recommended that I get chaptered. I get word that they're trying to do my chapter process, and I'm like, wait a minute. I went and got my chapter paperwork, and I went to the brigade Sergeant Major Rodriguez, and he said, wait a minute, your chapter packet hasn't been signed yet. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm already going through the chapter process. They're like, but your chapter process hasn't, like, the brigade commander hasn't signed it. Everything that goes to him goes through me. He hasn't signed your paperwork yet. I'm like, what? And I'm like, all right, can I talk to him? And then you had to set up an appointment with him. And I was about to walk in his office, But then what stopped me from doing that is I got the pre-copy of my 214, and when I touched it, I don't know what it was, Ramos. When I touched it, my world opened up, and I realized, wait a minute, I'm fucking free. Otherwise, I would have barged right in the brigade commander's office and asked for 10 minutes of his time.
At that
But
point,
anyway,
at that point, you're out.
I discharged, and then as I discharged, I left through All American, and I got a post pass, and I went back on post to go to Womack to go see 6 South, and saw Dr. Russin, and I told her about she's the reason I didn't try to kill myself the third time, and she started crying and asked if she could hug me. And we did, and she told me, "You're gonna do great things," and that meant a lot to me. Like I said, an angel sent here by God to watch over me. That woman.
Amen.
Anyone here?
Amen to that.
He finds themselves in Womack, request Dr. Russin. I can't tell you how amazing she is. She literally became a psychiatrist because the thought that someone's not feeling well with their emotions just hurts her, so she has to fix people. Like, that's just the most amazing woman. But when I discharged, I went to go stay in Ohio with my buddy, and at this time I got my medical records released to me, and I was like, oh, you know what? I got them emailed to me, and I started reading them, and when I started reading them, I had an epiphany. I saw everything. The records I sent you, which is why we're here today, and that's what happened. And then I started my YouTube channel explaining all this, which is Cobra One, on both TikTok and YouTube. And
hang on, matter of fact, let me fucking. You said Cobra One, right?
Yep, capital Cobra One at Cobra Dash Nation, all in caps on YouTube.
Cobra. Hang on, I'll show everybody right now. So we can
thank you, Ramos.
So we can give you some love.
Appreciate it.
So let's see.
So James called me, my attorney. He said, "Hey, what happened?"
So real quick, you said Cobra One at what? What is it now? It's just I just typed it up in the search.
Cobra One, and then it's at Cobra Dash Nation in all caps.
Cobra One Dash Nation. Let me look it up.
I have about 196 subs, and my profile picture is a cobra snake.
So
my favorite,
in the search bar, I'm being retarded right now. In the search bar, what do I type? Cobra One.
For Cobra One, capital, all capital, Cobra number 1.
Number 1. Okay, that's what I was fucking up on. There we go. Holy shit! There's a lot of fucking Cobra Ones in here.
Mine's the black, the green, black, and red snake, and it's just all capital Cobra One. Everything is capital letter. It should be the top one. I think I'm the most subscribed one out of all of them.
This doesn't let me see it. That's so fucking weird.
If you also look up Toxic Leadership Part 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are my most viewed videos.
Toxic Leadership.
Part 4 is my most viewed. That should pop up.
Toxic Leadership Part 1. I don't want to fucking. Damn, I should have fucking got you this.
It's good, good Ramos. I appreciate the love.
It's not showing me shit. Dude, I don't know what's going on. Oh, here it is. There you go. Let me throw you in here and throw some Angry Billy here. Hang on. Let me get you on here so we could see ya.
So anyway, I'll continue. So when I was out, that's when I started making my YouTube channel, my YouTube videos explaining what happened to me. And then also my buddy Rice, you just brought his name up, got into his contact, Hitch, his buddy, and he knew you, and we started talking. And then I read my records. Yep, that's it. I read my records, and I read what I sent you, where I was a cisgender male and like describing me as this piece of shit, basically. And I was like, ain't no fucking way that this was put in medical documentation. And I had an epiphany, because in that moment I was free. But then I realized something. Someone is going to join like I did when I was 18, 19, and they're going to go through this shit. I'm not letting anybody go through that while I can do something about it. And started the YouTube channel. And also, good old Jamie Phillips reached out to me. And Jamie Phillips was like, Hey, so what happened with my discharge? I'm like, they started my chapter process before brigade signed it, right? He's like, yep, I know. I'm like, what do you mean? Also, they stopped contacting me. He was calling Brigade Legal saying, I want the brigade commander to review the evidence. And they would not answer the fucking phone. So currently we're working on a discharge review board because I'm trying to get back in. I don't know if I'm going to the National Guard or
Yeah,
if I'm going active duty.
I was about to say, man, it's a process and a half going through the National Guard. It's a lot. How do I say this? It's a lot easier going through the National Guard, and then once you get back into the system, then you can go active duty. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and so
you could do a year, right? You could start off with 1 year in the Guard, and then
usually it's best off. What I would do, being my former Guard self, is what I would do is I would be in there for a year, pick up a couple of ADOS missions or IMA missions where you go volunteer for active duty stuff like overseas or something like that. It's easy to fucking do, and then they'll send you out, activate you on orders for about a year, or you can even find some of the IMA stuff and go AGR for a little bit, and then that gets your foot in the door to go active duty. So now, so you got diesel mechanics, dude. Let me put this thing back up. You got your fucking page up. That's what I'm talking about. That shit. I like all, you got some good rants in here too. I'm just already seeing it.
My favorite video I made a video of me eating crayons in honor of the Marine Corps. And another video I made celebrated Pride Month. I'll let you watch that on your own. That's one of my most viewed videos on TikTok as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I started with Toxic Leadership series, and then I went into some other stuff. My most recent video is my 1911 video.
Yeah,
I'm going into my gun collection as well.
The one thing I like right here is men's mental health matters. That's fucking important because a lot of dudes, I'm telling you what, man, we don't get into it as dudes. We don't get into it enough on how the way we tick or how the way we think and how everyone tells us how to be. And it's fucking, to me, it's just like one of those things where it's important that we get it. We really need to rally around ourselves to do this. So
absolutely, it matters. Like I always told my guys, if you think no one supports you in Bay Area, I support you. Like I went through a lot of shit. Granted, I will tell you, I should not call my commander a bitch to anybody. That was wrongful as an NCO, regardless of how I think or feel, and I take responsibility for that. But like I said in my Toxic Leadership series, everything they did was unnecessary, and I was going to let that go until I got a hold of my medical records and saw everything they were doing, and it all made sense. I was suspicious of that happening because I always listen to that little, ignore that little voice when I should be listening to it, because I was holding on to the Army I once knew, and they let that happen. My battalion commander let that neglect happen, and instead of trying to enforce discipline, they fucking tried to toss me aside to cover their asses, and that's not leadership. That's fucking bullshit is what that is.
Exactly.
Luckily, after I left, so as you know, when a company commander gets done with, like, this was her first company she ever commanded. You usually go to another company like HHC, Brigade HHC, whatever. They sent her straight to Advanced Airborne School to be a jump master. It looks like to me they pulled a Captain Sobel on her because the entire battalion was tired of her and wanted her gone.
Well, I was about to say, they're probably going to
also volunteered for them.
Yeah. Being the 82nd airborne life. In order for you to lead troops,
that could also be it too.
Leaders are supposed to be, leading troops. I have missed out on plenty of soft missions because I wasn't a jump master, and it wasn't until I became a jump master way later in my career to where I could finally understand the importance of.
Well, she was already a jump master, though.
Oh, so she's going to be an instructor then, a jump master instructor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, an instructor.
Oh, gotcha.
She's school to be an instructor.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so she's going to be a black hat there for a while because that's a 3-year hitch.
And I think they did that on purpose, but still, though, like, if she was a male, I guarantee you they would have already removed her. But because she was the face of the division, she got to get away with it, and that's bullshit. I'm not the only one she's done stuff to, and obviously she was able to get behavior health on their side.
Yeah, I was about to say that was just it's just fucking.
And that's why we're here today, is because of what behavior health did. And that's the reason I tried to kill myself, was because the people who were supposed to help me made me want to kill myself. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
And I don't want anyone to go through that.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you guys right now, Billy's story right now is one of 2 other incidences that we've been working on, and we just finally were able to get And I know me and Billy were talking earlier about, because he's curious too. We have 2 other stories that are going to be involved. The same thing like this, HIPAA violations, and because I see also HIPAA violations in this happening too. So, dude, I love shooting the shit with you in the inbox and all that. And,
it's an honor. I've been looking forward to, it was a dream of mine to talk to What the Fuck Moments. I worship this channel as a young pride in MBE4.
Well, I mean, Hitch had something to do with it too. So,
I love Hitch.
Yeah. So
that man.
So we go back and like I said, there's a lot of stories about me that people don't realize until you brought it up to my attention. And then I'm like, oh shit. Because not too many people know about that story, but bro, thank you again for hanging out, man. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Of course, this is for the boys 100%. Everyone wearing the uniform, this is for you. Like, you fucking matter. Like, there's a lot of great things the new Army's brought. Like, my platoon cared deeply about me and didn't want me to, like, they cared and were worried about me. And that's camaraderie right there. Versus back in, like, they would, like, some people like, oh, he's suicidal. That dude's a bitch. Like, no. And those guys deserve to see outstanding leadership, because there was a point where they put a gag order, don't talk about your separation process. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they ordered the company not to talk about my separation process too. I didn't know that till I discharged, and I was reaching out to people.
Well,
almost like they were trying to cover their asses.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounded like you were covering your ass. So Billy, thanks again, bro. We're gonna go ahead and kill off the show, because dude, you're like, I think one of the longest podcasts of you shooting the shit. I've had a guest shoot the shit with me in a while. So yeah, Dana says this is an absolute insane story. I've been retired for 7 years now, and this shit like this is infuriates me. Well, Dana, we got 2 other Med stories coming up too. So again, my man Bill and his story about Womack. Again, this will be loaded up on all the podcasts. It's broadcasting live on 5 platforms: two YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, and of course the X app. Shut up, Susan. Susan, shut up. Just shut up, Susan. The X app. So share, like, and follow on all that, and of course Cobra One. YouTube, so you can hear all of his rants and stuff like that. I want to look at that 1911 video. I can't wait to see that. You got Arnold already with the
hardballer.
Yeah, the hardballer, the AMT. Yeah, the AMT hardballer. Yep. So, all right,
you'll like my 1911. It's a Springfield Imbel model.
Nice. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and take off. Make sure you share, like, and follow. Don't forget, tomorrow we got Pop Culture Warrior. And then, of course, the Smoke Pit on Wednesday. Thursday, start time. Friday is FTX. Saturday is Co-ops. And then Sundays, the Sports Bar. And then, of course, right back at the Monday edition. So with that, y'all have a good night. Shouts.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
The strangest sights in this foreign land. sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army WTF, the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos, the truth is told. From the field to the base, the legends grow. Army WTF, the madness we know. The mud so deep, I'm in memory, no time for sleep. Emerge treated like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army WTF, the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos, the truth is told. From the field to the base, the legends grow. Army WTF, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wild things roam, every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange, Army WTF, it never will change. So raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army WTF every single day.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
The horse, with beauty unsurpassed, strength immeasurable, and grace unlike any other, still remains humble enough to carry a man upon its back. When a service member or first responder takes an oath, he or she has mentally and physically committed themselves with self-sacrifice. From the front lines abroad to the very streets you live on in America, they protect. This oath is non-refundable and it is lifelong. Facing unimaginable dangers and unseen scars, these grounds are a place to recover and face any challenges head-on. As veterans and first responders ourselves, we know that battle all too well. From a simple talk with a friend on horseback to an entire debrief in the barn, this sanctuary has seen recovery take place time and time again. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in a saddle. The way we approach change isn't a new phenomenon. This animal has been with humans over 5,000 years. If you've ever been around a horse for long enough, you'll feel that thing, that electric trust. In that moment, nothing else is in your mind. When they turn into you, it's like the world disappears. We harness that moment to build skills off of. Repurposing requires flexibility, adaptability, and the willingness to challenge assumptions and conventional thinking. This approach can be applied to many areas in life, including business, education, and personal growth. To ride a horse is to fly without wings. This lesson and skills learned at war horses will help reintegrate back into daily life. You'll learn coping mechanisms, improve communication skills, trust and confidence that will help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. These tools can be used every day to navigate life and take on many challenges. This may involve practicing mindfulness, setting boundaries, improving communication with loved ones. Transitioning back to society is hard on your own. And when you're at war horses, you're family. And families solve problems together.
Я батько. Я молодший брат.
Я водій маршрутки.
Я скоро одружуся.
Я фанат Шахтера. Начальник отдела продаж.
Я прораб.
Я программист. Я свидетель на свадьбе.
Дядя Юра, таксист. Я вчитель фізкультури.
Я студент-геолог.
У мене своя фірма.
Я кращий друг зі школи.
Я сусід, який завжди стукає по батареї.
Я єдиний син.